Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Astronomer, a quiet place where the universe becomes a lullaby and science drifts gently into dreams. Tonight we open the doorway to one of humanity's most mysterious questions. Is time travel actually possible? Einstein's shocking answer. So settle in, let your body rest, and allow your mind to wander as we float softly into the currents of time itself. Close your eyes and listen to the silence between each breath. Within that silence, something invisible is moving, steady, constant, unbroken. It is the flow of time. You cannot touch it, yet it touches every part of you. You cannot stop it, yet it carries you, softly, gently, like water in a riverbed. From the moment you are born, you enter this river, and you are never apart from it. You may think of time as numbers on a clock face ticking in circles, or as dates written in a calendar, one after another. But here in the quiet, imagine something different. Imagine time as a vast river, flowing endlessly in one direction. The surface ripples with moments you can see and remember, the laughter of childhood, the warmth of a summer afternoon, the stillness of a winter night. Beneath the surface, countless unseen currents move on, carrying everything forward, never backward. You're not standing outside this river, you're immersed in it, body and mind. Every beat of your heart is like a soft drum in rhythm with the current. Every breath you take is a gentle oar stroke, keeping you afloat as the stream carries you on. And yet, though you live inside it, you cannot step out and watch it from afar. The river is your home, and you are part of its endless drift. As you picture this, notice how your memories are like stones along the shore. Some are smooth and familiar, easily picked up, turning gently in your hands. Others are distant, half-buried, harder to reach. Still, the river flows past them, never pausing to admire what it leaves behind. Ahead, the future is a misty bend. You cannot see where it leads, only trust that the water carries you somewhere. This is the quiet mystery of time. It moves whether or not you notice, whether or not you ask it to. And in that steady movement, your life finds its shape. Each moment, no matter how small, is a droplet added to the river. Some droplets sparkle with joy, some are heavy with sorrow, but the river does not judge. It simply gathers them all and carries them on. Look around in your mind. Notice how time is everywhere. The moon crossing the night sky, the tide rising and falling, the stars wheeling above you. All of these are the river's signs. They show you that time is not just inside your body, but written across the universe itself. The Earth spins once each day. The moon orbits once each month. The planet journeys around the sun once each year. These cosmic cycles are the great rhythms, and your own heartbeat is a smaller echo of them. Even as you listen now, seconds slip by unnoticed, like leaves drifting downstream. You cannot catch them, though you might wish to. You cannot slow them, though you may try to savor them. Each moment arrives, lives its brief life, and dissolves into memory. Yet the river never runs dry. Sometimes you may feel the river rushes too quickly. A joyful day passes before you are ready to let it go. Other times the river feels heavy and slow, each hour stretching endlessly. Yet this too is an illusion of your mind. The water itself does not speed up or slow down. It flows at the same steady pace, only coloured by your feelings as you drift within it. Think of a child at play, hours pass unnoticed, swallowed by laughter and curiosity. Think of a traveller waiting in an airport. Each minute feels swollen and reluctant, dragging its feet. Time bends not in reality, but in perception, reminding you that your experience of the river is as personal as your breath. And yet, there is more. Beneath this familiar picture of the river lies a deeper mystery. For centuries, humans believed time was absolute, the same for all people, all places, all things. Like a great universal clock ticking with perfect rhythm, untouched by circumstance. But in the last century, a voice arose that said otherwise. A quiet, thoughtful voice that changed everything. Before we listen to that voice, let us rest a little longer in the feeling of the river itself. Imagine yourself lying on a raft, drifting gently downstream. The sky above changes shade by shade. Dawn, noon, twilight, night. The banks roll slowly past, lined with memories and possibilities. The water carries you without effort, without asking for control. All you can do is breathe and trust the flow. In this stillness, notice something subtle. The river is not the same for every traveller. The water feels different depending on where you are, how you move, and how the world pulls upon you. You do not yet know why this is so, but you can sense that the river is more mysterious than it first appears. If you listen closely, you can almost hear a whisper across the water, a suggestion that time may stretch or bend or shift its rhythm under certain conditions. What seems steady may in truth be flexible, pliable, alive. The river of time is not a single unchanging stream, but a living current that interacts with the universe itself. To begin to understand this is to open yourself to wonder, for if time is not fixed, then perhaps your journey is not as simple as you once believed. Perhaps, under the right circumstances, the current could bend back upon itself or diverge into new paths. For now, let this possibility rest softly in your mind, like a dream not yet spoken aloud. You do not need to understand it fully. You only need to feel the first stirrings of curiosity, the gentle sense that there is more to time than its passing moments. And soon someone will arrive to guide you deeper into this mystery. A dreamer who once gazed at the river of time and dared to imagine it differently. His name is Albert Einstein, and his vision reshaped the very way we understand the current that carries us. But before we step into his story, rest here a little longer in the flowing silence, where the river hums softly, and the next question is already waiting. The river of time feels steady, doesn't it? You float along its surface, trusting that each moment carries the same rhythm. A second is always a second, a minute is always a minute. This belief feels so natural, so unquestionable, that for centuries no one dared to imagine otherwise. Time, people thought, was universal. But then came a voice, gentle, curious, and unafraid to disturb what seemed certain. A man with wild, uncombed hair and eyes that saw the world with childlike wonder. His name was Albert Einstein, and he did not simply look at the river. He asked questions about its very nature. Einstein was not born into greatness. He was not the top of his class, nor the kind of genius praised early in life. Instead, he spent much of his youth daydreaming, staring out of classroom windows, imagining beams of light racing through the sky. He carried these visions quietly, like secret companions, long before the world knew his name. What set Einstein apart was not only his intelligence but his way of thinking. He approached science not as a collection of rules, but as a playground of imagination. While others measured, counted, and repeated, Einstein paused to wonder, what if? What would it feel like to ride on a wave of light? What would happen if time itself could stretch and bend? In the early 1900s, as the world rushed with industry and invention, Einstein introduced an idea so delicate and so revolutionary that it shook the foundations of physics. He said that time is not absolute. It does not tick the same for everyone. Instead, it changes depending on how you move and where you are. At first, the world resisted. How could something as constant as time itself be flexible? Yet Einstein's thoughts were not wild fantasy. They were supported by careful reasoning, by equations that fit reality like a key fits a lock. The river of time, he showed, is not uniform. It bends with speed. It stretches with gravity. Imagine two people drifting along the river. One rests quietly on the surface, while the other races ahead in a swift canoe. To the one moving faster, time itself slows down. Their heartbeats stretch farther apart. Their moments pass more slowly, compared to the friend they left behind. When they meet again, their clocks will no longer agree. This was Einstein's gentle disturbance, the revelation that time is relative. It does not exist in isolation, but in a partnership with space woven together into something new, spacetime. Picture spacetime as a great fabric, invisible yet ever-present. Upon it rest the stars, the planets, and your own body. This fabric is soft enough to bend, to curve under weight. Where mass gathers, the fabric dips, and the river of time flows differently there. A clock in a valley ticks slower than a clock on a mountain. The difference may be small, but it is real, measurable, undeniable. Einstein's insight did not erase the old picture of time, it deepened it. He took the steady river and revealed hidden currents, unseen eddies, secret bends. Suddenly, what seemed so familiar became strange and beautiful. The universe was not a rigid machine, but a living, flexible whole. As you breathe now, you are part of this discovery. The very fact that satellites guide your phone through invisible signals relies on Einstein's equations. Without correcting for the way gravity bends time, the maps you trust would wander off course. His dreamlike thoughts, born more than a century ago, now whisper quietly in your pocket every day. Yet beyond the practical, there is something profoundly human in his vision. Einstein's relativity tells you that your journey through time is personal. No two travelers drift the river in quite the same way. Your path, your rhythm, your unfolding moments are uniquely yours. Does this not feel intimate? To know that time bends itself to your movement, to your place in the universe? You're not simply a passenger in a rigid clockwork. You are part of the shaping of time itself. Einstein's work did not come fully formed, nor was it easy. He faced doubt, rejection, and years of quiet obscurity. But he persisted with patience, trusting the whispers of his imagination. And slowly, the world began to listen. The equations matched reality. The experiments confirmed the dream. Think of the courage it takes to question something as unquestionable as time, to stand in a world that believes the river is straight and declare, "No, it curves, no, it bends." This courage is a lesson you can carry within yourself, that even the most familiar truths can hold hidden wonders, waiting for you to notice them. And so, as you rest in this chapter, let Einstein's disturbance settle gently into your mind. Time is not a single universal heartbeat. It is a melody that shifts with perspective, a rhythm shaped by speed and gravity. The river is more mysterious than it first appeared. You may not feel this difference in your daily life. The slowing of seconds is too small to touch your morning coffee or your evening walk, but on cosmic scales, the effect becomes undeniable. Astronauts in orbit age a fraction more slowly than those on Earth. Clocks at mountaintops tick faster than clocks by the sea. The river of time is quietly uneven, sculpted by the universe itself. As you drift with this thought, imagine Einstein not as a stern figure of authority, but as a companion by your side. His voice is soft, almost playful, inviting you to look again at what you thought you knew. He does not demand belief. He simply shares a vision and leaves you to wonder. And in your wondering, you feel something awaken, the sense that the reality is stranger, richer, more dreamlike than you imagined. The river flows on, but now you see it differently. You notice its bends, its shimmering curves. You begin to sense the fabric beneath the water, the invisible stage upon which all of existence unfolds. It is toward this fabric that we now turn, the vast, unseen weaving of space and time, stretching beneath your every step, carrying you deeper into the mystery. Close your eyes again, and picture the river of time flowing gently. You feel its current against your skin, steady and calm. But now, imagine that this river is not alone. Imagine it is woven together with space itself, like two threads crossing to form a single cloth. This cloth is called spacetime, and it stretches beneath you like an invisible fabric. Every step you take, every star you see, rests upon this vast and silent weave. To understand space-time, think of a bedsheet pulled taut between four hands. Smooth and flat. It seems simple enough, but place a heavy stone in the middle and the sheet dips, curving downward around the stone. If you roll a small marble nearby, it will spiral inward, drawn toward the dip, not because the stone reaches out and pulls it, but because the marble follows the curved path of the fabric itself. This is what Einstein revealed. Gravity is not a force tugging invisibly at objects. It is the bending of spacetime's fabric under the weight of mass and energy. The Earth bends the fabric and the Moon follows the curve. The Sun bends it more deeply, and the planets drift along the paths carved into this unseen sheet. Pause here, and let that image settle into your mind. You stand not on solid ground, but on a cosmic fabric stretching in every direction, endlessly wide, endlessly subtle. Your body too presses gently upon it, making the faintest dip. Every star, every galaxy, every grain of matter leaves its quiet fingerprint, shaping the flow of time and space together. If you could see this fabric, it would shimmer like silk, delicate and vast. Stars would appear as bright jewels weighing upon it, their gravity stretching the weave. Black holes would be deep wells, where the fabric folds almost beyond return. Even your presence would cause the faintest ripple, almost nothing, yet undeniably real. Spacetime is not separate from you. It is the stage on which your life unfolds. When you walk, when you breathe, when you dream, you move through its invisible threads. Time is not ticking apart from space. It is bound into the same fabric, inseparable. Consider this. The reason Earth orbits the Sun is not because some invisible rope ties them together. It is because the Sun bends space-time and Earth is simply following the curve of that bend. In the same way, you feel the ground pulling you down, but what you actually experience is space-time curving beneath you, guiding your body along the path of least resistance. Notice how soft and strange this idea feels. The very thing you once called gravity is not a force at all, but the geometry of the universe itself. You're not being pulled down, you are moving naturally along the curve of space-time's invisible sheet. Let your imagination wander further. Picture space-time rippling, as if the fabric were alive. In fact, it is. When massive objects move, they send waves across this cosmic weave. Colliding black holes, exploding stars, even two orbiting planets, all send vibrations across space-time, stretching and squeezing it ever so slightly. These are gravitational waves, and though faint, they are real. Scientists have listened to them, like eavesdropping on the heartbeat of the universe itself. Each ripple that passes through you is smaller than the width of a proton, yet it is enough to remind you that the universe is not still. It is alive, quivering with the movement of countless bodies across the endless night. You are lying not on a rigid stage, but on a trembling fabric that carries whispers of events billions of light years away. Pause again and feel this truth. The ground beneath you is not as solid as it seems. The chair, the bed, the floor, they are all resting upon something deeper, something invisible. Space-time holds you gently, curving beneath you, guiding every step without ever announcing its presence. This realization changes how you see yourself. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are stitched into its very weave. Your atoms press down upon the same fabric as the stars. Your heartbeat echoes along the same threads that carry galaxies. You are not a visitor in the universe. You are part of its fabric. And yet this fabric is not static. It shifts with every movement, with every presence. As you sit, as you breathe, you feel your trace upon space-time. The fabric responds, however faintly. You are not merely carried by it. You are shaping it in return. Is this not humbling? To know that the universe bends itself around you, however slightly, that your existence is written in delicate curves upon the very stage of reality. Now, let us return to the image of the bedsheet. Imagine rolling two marbles across it, circling each other, spiraling closer until they collide. This is how galaxies merge, how black holes meet, how stars collapse into one another. Collision shakes the fabric, sending ripples far beyond, ripples that travel through you as you listen now. The discovery of these ripples was not easy. For decades, they were only whispers in equations, predictions made by Einstein himself. Many doubted they could ever be found. Yet in 2015, scientists finally heard them, the first faint trembling of space-time reaching us from colliding black holes over 1 billion light-years away. For the first time, humanity touched the fabric directly, felt its gentle quake beneath our feet. Think of that, a wave born in the violent death of stars, travelling across the universe for over 1 billion years, only to arrive here, now, in the moment you are alive. The fabric you rest upon carries not just your weight, but the history of the cosmos itself. As you drift in this thought, notice how soft it feels. You are part of a grand weaving, yet there is no urgency, no rush. The fabric holds you without effort. It is the quiet assurance that reality is connected, that everything rests upon the same unseen threads. And still, questions remain. If space and time are woven together, how does time itself behave upon this fabric? Why does it stretch more in some places, less in others? How does your heartbeat differ depending on where you stand upon the weave? Einstein's vision revealed the stage, but you are only beginning to sense its subtleties. The river of time flows not evenly across this fabric, but differently, depending on how the fabric curves. A clock placed high on a mountain ticks faster than one resting deep in a valley. The difference is almost invisible, but it is there, written into the very nature of space-time. And so, as this chapter closes, you stand upon the invisible ground of existence, sensing its supple strength beneath your feet. You feel how it bends, how it curves, how it carries the weight of stars and the whisper of your own body. Ahead lies a deeper realization. If space-time itself shapes the river of time, then perhaps even the clock within your body, your breath, your heartbeat, your pulse, is not as steady as it seems. Listen closely, and you will hear the quiet ticking of a clock that needs no winding. It beats steadily within you, pulsing beneath your ribs. Your heart, with its rhythm of contraction and release, marks each moment of your life. Breath, too, carries its own measure. Inhale, exhale, inhale again. These rhythms are not kept by gears or numbers, but by the living machinery of your body. You are a creature of time built upon its steady unfolding. Even in stillness, your inner clocks keep moving. Cells divide, blood flows, neurons fire. Each action takes a moment, each moment slides into the next. Your body is a living calendar, measuring time not in hours or minutes, but in patterns of growth, change and renewal. When you wake in the morning, your inner clock has counted the hours of sleep, repairing and refreshing you. When you feel hunger, it is because time has passed since your last meal. Even your sense of age is a story told by your body's slow ticking. Muscles growing, bones lengthening, hair turning grey. Time does not only surround you, it dwells inside you, woven into every organ, every cell, every breath. But here is where Einstein's gentle disturbance enters again. He shows you that even these deeply personal clocks, your heartbeat, your breath, your body's rhythms, do not measure time the same way for all people in all places. The river of time flows differently depending on your speed or the weight of gravity pressing upon you. Imagine two people, twins, standing together. Their hearts beat in unison, their breaths rise and fall at the same pace. Now picture one twin stepping aboard a fast-moving train while the other stays behind. As the train accelerates, Einstein tells us that the twin on board experiences time differently. Their heartbeat slows compared to their siblings. Their inner clock ticks at a gentler pace. To the traveller, everything feels normal. The heart still beats steadily, the breath still flows. But when the train returns, and the twins stand side by side once more, their clocks no longer agree. One has lived through fewer moments than the other. The body itself, that most intimate of timekeepers, has kept a different rhythm. This idea feels like a dream, yet it is not imagination. It is real, tested and measured. Astronauts who leave Earth and circle the planet at great speeds age a fraction of a second less than those who remain on the ground. Tiny though the difference is, it reveals something profound. Your body's time is not fixed. It bends with your journey. Gravity, too, shapes the ticking of your inner clock. Picture yourself standing in a valley, where Earth's pull is stronger, the curve of space-time deeper. Here, your heartbeat slows slightly compared to someone standing high on a mountain. Again, you would not feel the difference. Your breath would rise and fall as always. Your moments would seem steady. But when compared to another, the rhythm shifts. The very act of living in a certain place changes the way your body experiences time. This truth may seem unsettling at first. If even your heartbeat cannot be trusted as universal, then what is time? But listen again. The lesson here is not chaos, but wonder. Your body is not separate from the universe's fabric. It responds to it, bends with it, flows within it. The rhythm of your life is shaped not only by your choices, but by the cosmos itself. Think of your breath now. Inhale, exhale. Each breath is a reminder that you are tied to forces beyond your awareness. The gravity of Earth, the movement of the planet around the sun, even the galaxy's slow spiral, all shape the ticking of your body's clock in ways subtle and unseen. You are not an isolated creature, but a participant in the grand weaving of space-time. Pause here and feel the intimacy of this truth. Your heart does not beat in defiance of the cosmos. It beats in harmony with it. Every pulse is a note in the universe's song, tuned to the curves of space-time, to the speed of your motion, to the weight of the ground beneath your feet. Einstein's revelation allows you to see your body in a new light. You're not simply aging moment by moment. You're experiencing your own personal rhythm of time, shaped by where you stand and how you move. No two lives are kept by identical clocks. Each person drifts through the river with their own unique tempo. And yet, in daily life, you do not notice. The differences are too small, too delicate to disturb your morning coffee or your evening walk. But they are there, written into the laws of reality. The clock on your wrist, the beat of your heart, the inhale of your breath, all of them carry the subtle fingerprints of relativity. As you rest with this thought, you might feel a quiet humility. You're more deeply connected to the universe than you realized. Your body is not only flesh and bone, but a vessel shaped by gravity, by speed, by the unseen fabric beneath your feet. You are in every heartbeat, proof of Einstein's vision. And so, as you lie here now, imagine your heart as a soft metronome, ticking not in isolation, but in harmony with stars, planets, and galaxies. Imagine your breath as part of a rhythm older than life itself. Time is not only outside of you, it lives within, and it lives differently depending on where you are. This is the quiet wonder Einstein left for you, that the clock inside your body is both personal and cosmic, both intimate and universal. As this chapter fades, let yourself linger on the thought that even your inner ticking depends on your place in the universe. And soon you will discover what happens when you climb higher or descend lower, how mountains and valleys reveal even more about time's gentle bending. Imagine yourself standing on the floor of a wide valley. The air is cool and still, the sky above held by high walls of rock and soil. You feel grounded, close to the Earth's center, its mass pressing quietly beneath you. Now, picture yourself instead at the top of a mountain, far above the valley, breathing thinner air, gazing at horizons that stretch endlessly. Two places, the same Earth, the same person. And yet Einstein tells you, time itself flows differently between them. This truth is subtle, almost impossible to notice in ordinary life. But physics whispers that a clock resting high on a mountain ticks just a little faster than a clock placed deep in a valley. The difference is tiny, far smaller than the blink of an eye, but it is real. And if you wait long enough, if you measure carefully enough, the difference accumulates until it cannot be denied. Why should this be so? The answer lies in the way gravity bends space-time. Down in the valley, closer to the Earth's pull, the fabric of space-time is curved more deeply. Time there moves more slowly. Up on the mountain, where gravity's grip is weaker, space-time curves less, and time runs a little quicker. It is as though the river of time flows at different speeds depending on how steeply the land beneath it bends. The water moves slowly in deep hollows, more freely along higher ground. You cannot feel the difference directly, but your clocks can, whether they are ticking watches, oscillating atoms, or the steady beat of your own heart. Pause for a moment and breathe. Imagine yourself holding two perfect clocks, one carried to the mountain peak, the other left behind in the valley. Both tick steadily, both seem unchanged. Yet when you reunite them, they disagree. The mountain clock has counted more moments, the valley clock has lagged behind. Which is correct? Both and neither. Time itself is relative, responding to the shape of space-time beneath each clock's feet. This is no abstract curiosity. The satellites orbiting above Earth, guiding your phone's maps, must correct for this very effect. Up high, far from Earth's gravity, their clocks tick faster than those on the ground. Without Einstein's insight, the difference would grow each day, throwing directions astray, shifting your location by miles. The invisible truth of mountains and valleys reaches quietly into your pocket, guiding you with every step. And yet beyond technology, there is poetry here. Imagine that your body, your thoughts, your very heartbeat are tuned not to some universal time, but to the earth beneath you. On the mountain, you live a little faster, your moments unfolding more quickly. In the valley, you live a little slower, your minutes stretching longer. You do not notice, but the universe does. It records your rhythm with quiet precision, shaping your experience of life with every rise and fall of the ground. Think of how this reshapes your sense of place. When you climb a hill, when you ascend stairs, you are not just moving through space, you're adjusting your relationship to time itself. Every step upward places you in a slightly different rhythm than the step before, and when you descend, gravity pulls not only on your body but on your seconds, stretching them delicately, invisibly. This thought can bring a kind of comfort. Time is not a cold, distant entity ticking away in the heavens. It is intimate, responsive, woven into the contours of the earth itself. The ground you walk on, the height at which you breathe, the valleys and mountains of your journey all shape the tempo of your life in ways you never knew. Einstein's revelation turns the earth into a kind of cosmic musician. Its mass plucks at space-time strings, changing the key, altering the tempo. High places play a quicker tune, low places a slower one, and you, without knowing, are always dancing to this subtle music. Consider now a thought experiment. Imagine you could split yourself in two, one version remaining in the valley, another living upon the mountain peak. Years pass, you walk, you breathe, you grow. To each of you, time feels normal, natural, but when you meet again, the mountain self has aged a fraction more, the valley self a fraction less. Not enough to notice with your eyes, but enough to measure with careful tools. 2 lives, 2 rhythms, 2 truths. Is it not humbling to know that something so vast as time can bend with something so ordinary as height? That the simple act of climbing a mountain places you in a slightly different universe of moments? You live in a world where even the ground beneath your feet shapes the very flow of your existence. Let yourself sink into this thought. The mountain and the valley are no longer just places of beauty or challenge. They are quiet laboratories, showing you the pliability of time itself. The hiker, the farmer, the wanderer all live by clocks gently tuned to their altitude, their closeness to Earth's embrace. And beyond Earth, this truth grows even more profound. Near a massive planet, time slows further. Near a black hole, it nearly stops. The mountain and the valley are but the first whispers of a deeper cosmic truth. Time itself bends under gravity's weight. So as you rest now, imagine yourself standing first in the valley, then on the mountain. Feel the shift, not in your breath or your pulse, but in the unseen clock of the universe. One place holding time back, the other letting it rush forward. Both true, both real, both woven into the fabric beneath your feet. Einstein has shown you that time is not absolute. It is tender, responsive, shaped by the Earth itself. And this realization opens the way to a new guide in your journey: light. For if gravity bends time and speed stretches it, then what of the one constant that seems immune to change? What of the beam that races through the cosmos at the same pace, no matter who watches, no matter where they stand? Let your thoughts drift upward, beyond the mountains and valleys, into the open skivas. Imagine the dawn breaking, the first rays of sunlight spilling softly over the horizon. Those rays began their journey long before they touched your skin. They were born in the deep, fiery heart of the sun, thousands of years ago, struggling slowly outward before rushing across 93 million miles of space. And yet, when they arrive, they seem immediate, as if they had always belonged here, illuminating your morning with quiet certainty. Light has always been your companion. It greets you in the morning, follows you through the day, and fades gently into evening. But beyond its warmth and brightness, light carries a deeper secret. It is the universe's timekeeper, steady, unwavering, unchanging. No matter where you are, no matter how fast you move, light always travels at the same speed. It does not hurry for one traveller or slow for another. It is the cosmic constant, the ultimate rhythm. Einstein saw this and realized its profound consequence. If light remains steady, then space and time themselves must shift and stretch to keep its pace. Pause here and let that thought settle. You live in a universe where light does not bend to your perspective. Instead, your perspective bends to light. Your seconds and your distances rearrange themselves so that light's journey remains constant. This is the law of relativity, and it makes light the keeper of time's deepest rhythm. Imagine holding a beam of light in your hands, watching it slip through your fingers. It moves at nearly 300,000 kilometers per second, so fast, so steady it cannot be outrun. Even if you flew in the fastest ship imaginable, chasing the beam with all your strength, it would still race ahead at the same speed, untouched by your effort. This constancy is more than a curiosity. It is the thread that binds space and time together. If light did not hold steady, time itself would not bend, clocks would not disagree, and the fabric of space-time would not stretch. Light is the anchor that keeps the cosmos in tune. Think of lightning in a distant storm. You see the flash, then hear the thunder seconds later. The difference comes because light moves so much faster than sound. Yet even as you notice this, light's speed is not something you control. It is always the same. Whether you are moving toward the storm or away from it, whether you stand still or race across the land. Einstein built his vision of relativity upon this truth. If light is constant, then your measurements of space and time must adjust. Distances shorten, seconds lengthen, all to preserve light's unwavering pace. In this way, light becomes more than illumination. It becomes the ruler against which reality reshapes itself. Picture two travelers once again, drifting through the universe. One stays home, the other boards a fast-moving ship. As the ship races forward, the traveller measures the beam of light and finds it steady. The one at home measures it too and also finds it steady. Their clocks, however, no longer match. Time itself has bent, stretching or compressing so that light can remain the same for both. This is why light is the keeper of time. It forces the universe to adjust, to bend and twist so that its own constancy is preserved. Every moment you live is quietly shaped by this demand. Your body, your clocks, your very sense of duration, all conform to the rhythm of light. Pause and imagine the night sky. Each star you see is not only a point of light, but a messenger from the past. The nearest star's rays left more than 4 years ago. Others departed hundreds, thousands, even millions of years before you were born. When you look up, you are not seeing stars as they are now, but as they once were. Light carries their history to you, holding it faithfully through the vastness of space. In this way, light is not only the keeper of time's rhythm, but also the keeper of memory. It delivers the past into the present, bridging distances so great they defy imagination. Every glimmer in the sky is a time capsule, a story travelling across the universe at light, steady pace. Even the sun you see each morning is not quite present. Its rays left 8 minutes before they reach you. You live always slightly behind the moment of their birth, touched not by the sun as it is, but by the sun as it was. Light is a reminder that the present is not absolute, but a delicate weaving of moments arriving from every corner of the cosmos. Let yourself rest in this thought. Your world is filled with echoes, not only sounds bouncing from walls, but light carrying stories from long ago. The galaxy whispers to you constantly, not through words, but through beams that refuse to fade, travelling steadily at the same speed, always and everywhere. This constancy is humbling. It tells you that there is a measure deeper than any human invention. Clocks may falter, sand may slip through an hourglass at uneven rates, but light does not change. It is the silent guardian of reality's order, ensuring that the universe remains coherent and whole. Einstein once described light as the speed limit of the universe. Nothing can move faster, not particles, not signals, not thought. This limit is not a restriction, but a gift. It is what preserves cause and effect, what keeps events from collapsing into paradox. It ensures that time has a direction, a rhythm, a follow you can trust. Without light's boundary, the universe would dissolve into chaos. So here you are, resting in its steady embrace. Every moment you live, every second you count is synchronized to this silent law. Light moves, and reality bends to honor it. And yet there is a quiet wonder hidden in this truth. If time stretches and slows to preserve light's speed, then time itself is not rigid. It can be altered by motion, bent by gravity, reshaped by circumstance. The constancy of light reveals the flexibility of everything else. As you drift into this realization, you begin to feel how profound it is. Light is not only what allows you to see the world, it is what allows the world to have order at all. It is the thread holding the fabric of space-time together, the quiet rhythm to which the cosmos moves. Now imagine yourself lying in a dark field gazing up at the stars. Each pinprick of light is a heartbeat of the universe, arriving at your eyes after an unimaginable journey. You're surrounded by messages from across space and time, all carried at the same steady pace. You are in this moment, both here and everywhere, connected to galaxies, nebulae, and distant suns through the constancy of light. And as you close your eyes, you feel the rhythm settle into you. Your breath slows, your pulse softens. Somewhere in your body, a clock ticks gently, keeping pace not only with your own life, but with the cosmic speed of light itself. Yet questions remain. If light is the guardian of constancy, then what happens when motion challenges time directly? What happens when travelers race through the universe at high speeds, and their seconds begin to stretch and fold under light's unwavering demand? Close your eyes and imagine yourself stepping onto a train. The carriage is quiet, the seats soft, the air calm. Outside the window, the world stretches into long, blurred lines as the train begins to move. The faster you go, the stranger the view becomes. Fields blend into rivers of green, houses dissolve into streaks, the horizon trembles with speed. And yet, inside the train, everything feels normal. Your heart beats at its steady pace. Your breath rises and falls without hurry. Time to you seems unchanged. But here lies the secret that Einstein revealed. While you move swiftly, the rhythm of your time has shifted compared to those watching from the ground. Your seconds stretch, your minutes unfold more slowly. To the observer outside, your clock ticks gently behind their own. This effect is called time dilation, time's secret stretch, bending itself in response to motion. The word may sound technical, but think of it simply as this. The faster you move, the slower your time runs compared to someone at rest. You carry your own clock with you, and it ticks differently depending on your journey. Let us pause in this thought. Picture two friends, one stays on the platform watching the train race by, the other sits inside gazing calmly out the window. For the traveller, the trip feels ordinary. Moments pass with their usual rhythm. But when the two meet again after a long journey, they discover a difference. The traveller has aged a little less. The one on the ground has lived through more seconds, more minutes, more hours. At first, this seems impossible. How can two people who began together live through unequal amounts of time? And yet experiments confirm it. Particles that decay quickly when still will last longer, when moving at near the speed of light. Their inner clocks, just like yours, slow under motion's influence. Astronauts circling Earth return with tiny differences in age compared to those who stayed behind. The stretch of time is not an illusion. It is the quiet truth of the universe. Think of the river of time again. For the one standing still, the current flows steadily. But for the one racing forward, the current slows, its waters stretching into long, smooth waves. Each traveller floats upon their own rhythm, carried by the same river, yet arriving at different points. Now, let your imagination carry you further. Picture yourself not on a train, but in a ship travelling close to the speed of light. Outside your window, stars smear into luminous streaks. Galaxies bend into arcs of light. Inside, your heart still beats, your breath still flows. But when you finally return home, centuries may have passed for those you left behind. For you, perhaps only years have slipped away. Time has stretched, folded, curved, not in your perception, but in reality itself. This is the strange gift of relativity. It tells you that time is not absolute, not a universal clock ticking for all. Instead, it is personal, dependent on your journey, your speed, your gravity. Your seconds are not my seconds. Your hours are not identical to those of a traveller among the stars. Time dilation reveals that each life flows to its own tempo, shaped by its place in spacetime. Pause and feel this truth. It does not make your life smaller. It makes it richer. To know that your time is unique is to see that your path is uniquely yours. Every step you take, every journey you make bends the rhythm of your existence in ways both subtle and profound. Think again of the train. As you watch the world blur outside, imagine the clocks in the houses you pass. Imagine the people moving through their days, unaware that your seconds are stretching compared to theirs. You remain connected to them, yet your experiences unfold in a slightly different rhythm. The universe allows both to be true, both to exist without contradiction. There is a softness in this paradox. It invites you to let go of the idea of one single rigid time, and to embrace instead the fluidity of many times, flowing together like threads in a tapestry. Each traveller, each observer carries their own measure, and yet the fabric remains whole. Time dilation may sound strange, but it touches your life even now. The GPS in your phone guiding you across streets and oceans must correct for the dilation caused by both speed and gravity. Without it, the maps would drift, your location would wander. Technology survives by listening to Einstein's whisper. Time is not uniform. It bends, it stretches, it adjusts. As you rest with this thought, consider what it means for your sense of the present. If your seconds and mine can differ, then the idea of a single now becomes uncertain. The present is not a universal moment, but a collection of personal moments, each unfolding according to the path of its observer. The universe holds not one rhythm, but many, and yet together they form a symphony. In this symphony, light remains the conductor, steady and constant. It is because light does not change that time must. If you try to chase light, time stretches to keep its pace unbroken. If you rest still, time flows at another rhythm, yet always in harmony with the speed of light. This delicate dance ensures the universe remains ordered, balanced, whole. Let yourself drift with this realization. You're not trapped by the idea of time. You're part of its living movement, part of its flexibility. Your moments are not rigid beads on a string, but gentle ripples in a current that shifts with every journey. And yet there is another story waiting within time dilation, one that makes the lesson more vivid. Imagine two twins, one who stays home and one who travels among the stars. When they meet again, their faces no longer match in years. One has aged more, one less. Their reunion is tender and strange, proof of time's pliability, proof that the universe is stranger than it appears. That is where we will drift next, into the quiet paradox of the twins, a thought experiment that reveals time's secret stretch in the most human of ways. Picture two twins. They are born together, sharing the same first breath of life. Their early moments unfold side by side, laughter, play, quiet hours under the same sky. They are mirrors of one another, their inner clocks beating in rhythm. For years, their lives are synchronized, every second shared. Now imagine a moment of parting. One twin stays home on Earth, living among familiar fields and seasons. The other boards a spacecraft, setting off toward the stars. As the engines ignite, the traveller feels the pull of acceleration, leaving behind the steady rhythm of life on Earth. The ship glides faster and faster, approaching a speed where Einstein's strange truth becomes visible. Time begins to stretch. Inside the ship, the travelling twin does not notice. The heartbeats still flow, thoughts still wander, sleep still comes and goes. Days and nights feel the same, but compared to the sibling who remains on Earth, the traveller's clock ticks more slowly. Seconds lengthen. Minutes unfold with greater space between them. The difference is invisible inside the ship, but it is real, written into space-time itself. Back on Earth, the twin watches the seasons turn, leaves bud, unfurl and fall. Years pass, each one leaving quiet traces on the body and face. Time continues its familiar rhythm, unbent by motion. Life unfolds in steady sequence one day after another. Now imagine the reunion. After many years, the spacecraft returns. The twins step toward each other, but something astonishing has happened. The traveller, who feels as though only a handful of years have passed, looks into the face of a sibling aged far more. The homebound twin carries wrinkles, greyer hair, slower steps. The travelling twin remains younger. This is the twin paradox. A thought experiment born from Einstein's relativity, showing how time itself diverges when two lives follow different paths. At first glance, it seems impossible, even unfair. How can two people who began together live through unequal amounts of time? And yet it is not a trick of perception. It is reality's quiet truth. The paradox is not a contradiction, though it feels like one. The travelling twin experiences acceleration, changing frames of motion, while the one on Earth remains steady. This difference ensures that their journeys through time are not equal. Each follows the rules of space-time faithfully, but those rules lead them to different rhythms, different totals of lived experience. Pause here and let this image linger. Two people, once side by side, returning to find their lives no longer aligned. The idea is tender, almost heartbreaking, and yet also wondrous. It reminds you that time is not an absolute ruler measuring everyone equally. It is personal, shaped by movement and place, pliable like a fabric that folds differently for each traveller. You may never travel near the speed of light, but the lesson still touches you. Your time is not identical to another's. Your moments unfold in ways shaped by your path, your gravity, your speed. Even on Earth, in subtle ways, we all live by different clocks, even if the differences are too small to notice. Think of how this reshapes the way you see relationships. To share life with someone is to walk the river of time together, but never perfectly in step. Each heartbeat, each breath, each thought flows at its own rhythm. The twin paradox is a cosmic mirror of this everyday truth. No two journeys are ever exactly the same. And yet, there is no need for sorrow. Instead, there is beauty in this uniqueness. Each life unfolds as its own melody, part of the universe's larger song. The twins may age differently, but their connection remains. Their shared beginning, their bond across time, is not erased by the difference. It is made more precious, more fragile, more real. Science too has confirmed this gentle paradox. Tiny particles, living brief lives, last longer when they travel swiftly, just as the travelling twin ages more slowly. Astronauts who orbit Earth return slightly younger than their counterparts on the ground. The effect is small here, but in the cosmos, it grows profound. Let yourself rest in the softness of this truth. You are not bound to an absolute clock ticking the same for all. You are part of a universe where time is flexible, personal, responsive. Your moments are yours alone, shaped by your journey, your path, your motion. Picture once more the twins at their reunion. One smiles with the wisdom of long years lived, the other with the freshness of fewer. Their eyes meet, and in that gaze lies the mystery of relativity. Time is not fixed. It bends, it stretches, it belongs to each traveller in their own way. This thought does not need to trouble you. Instead, let it soothe you. For if time can bend, then life is not rigid. It is open, flowing, filled with possibility. The paradox is not a flaw, but a window into the richness of reality. As you drift with this idea, imagine standing at the edge of another mystery. If time can slow for a traveller, what happens near a place where gravity bends space-time almost beyond recognition? What happens at the edge of a black hole, where even light struggles to escape? Close your eyes and imagine a night sky deeper than any you have ever known. Stars shine like lanterns scattered across an infinite sea. But somewhere in that sea there is a place of darkness, not the gentle darkness of night, but an absolute absence of light. A black hole, the name itself carries a hush, as if even language falls silent before its gravity. Black holes are born from stars that have lived long and given all their fire. When a star much larger than our sun exhausts its fuel, its fiery heart collapses inward. Gravity wins, nothing holds it back. The star shrinks, folds and falls into itself until it becomes something unimaginably dense, a point where matter and light cannot escape. Here is where the river of time bends, almost beyond recognition. Near a black hole, space-time curves so steeply that everything changes. Imagine drifting toward its edge, a boundary called the event horizon. To you, falling inward, time feels steady. Your heart still beats, your breath still flows. But to someone watching from far away, your seconds stretch longer and longer. Your movements slow, your voice grows faint. Your image freezes at the edge, never crossing. This is the paradox of the abyss. Time near a black hole is not the same as time far away. Gravity pulls so fiercely on space-time that it slows the very rhythm of existence. Clocks near the horizon tick more slowly than clocks far from its reach. For the distant observer, you never quite fall in. You linger at the edge, caught forever in slow motion. Pause here and feel the strangeness of this. You could live near a black hole and experience your own minutes as normal, yet when compared to others, your minutes would span hours, days, even centuries. Time itself dilates, stretched by gravity's hand until it becomes almost unrecognizable. What would it feel like to drift so near? Imagine floating closer and closer, watching the stars behind you warp and twist into arcs of light. The black hole does not simply darken the sky, it bends it, pulling starlight into curves, smearing galaxies into rings of brilliance called Einstein rings. The universe itself seems to swirl around you, as though painted upon the fabric of space-time that is folding into the abyss, and then silence. At the horizon, no message can escape. No light, no sound, no signal. This is not a wall, but a one-way door. To the outside world you are gone, erased into stillness. To you the journey continues deeper into the unknown. What lies beyond is hidden from our universe, a mystery wrapped in darkness. Einstein's equations first predicted these objects, but even he hesitated to believe they could be real. They seemed too extreme, too strange, yet the universe confirmed them. Stars circle invisible companions, moving too quickly for any ordinary object to explain. Telescopes capture the shadow of black holes outlined by glowing gas. Gravitational waves ripple outward when two collide, like tremors across spacetime's fabric. Black holes are not fantasy. They are here, waiting in the quiet reaches of the cosmos. Pause again and notice how they reshape your sense of time. A black hole is not simply an object. It is a place where the rules of existence bend, where space folds inward and time itself slows nearly to stillness. To look at a black hole is to see the malleability of reality made visible. And yet, there is something strangely calming in this vision. The black hole is not chaos, but order taken to its limit. It is spacetime obeying its own laws, curving itself so deeply that escape becomes impossible. The abyss is not a monster, but a mirror of gravity's ultimate power. Now let yourself imagine an even stranger possibility. What if the inside of a black hole is not an end, but a bridge? Some scientists have wondered whether black holes could connect to other places, other times, through tunnels known as wormholes. Perhaps the collapse of a star could open not a grave, but a doorway. These ideas remain uncertain, and perhaps forever hidden. Yet even in speculation, they remind you of something profound. Black holes sit at the edge of knowledge. They show us where our understanding falters, where mystery begins. To rest in their presence is to accept that some truths cannot yet be known, only wondered at. Think again of time itself. At the horizon of a black hole, the river does not simply slow, it nearly halts. Imagine dipping your hand into a current that grows still at its centre, a whirlpool where time lingers and clings. What would it mean to stand at such a place? To see the universe beyond rushing ahead, while your own seconds cling to eternity? The thought is haunting, but also poetic. Perhaps this is why black holes capture our imagination. They are both terrifying and beautiful, both endings and questions. They remind us that time is not infinite in its flow. It can be shaped, bent, stretched, and perhaps even stopped. Consider how this changes your sense of your own life. You live far from such extremes, where time feels steady and familiar. Yet black holes whisper that time is not what it seems. Even here, on Earth, gravity bends it. Speed stretches it. Reality is flexible, pliable, alive. Now, as you rest with this thought, imagine once more the reunion of two observers. One hovers safely far from the black hole, the other drifts close to its edge. For the one far away, centuries may pass. For the one near the horizon, only moments. When they compare notes, their lives are no longer aligned. The abyss has revealed time's secret. There is no single rhythm for all. Let yourself feel the awe of this truth. Black holes are not simply places of darkness. They are teachers, showing us that time is fragile, responsive, sensitive to gravity's pull. They are experiments written by the cosmos itself, showing us what happens when space-time bends almost beyond comprehension. And yet there is a gentle comfort here too. If even black holes obey the laws of relativity, then the universe itself is trustworthy. It follows its own rules, even at its extremes. You may not fully understand, but you can rest in the knowledge that reality is consistent, harmonious, whole. As you drift in this vision, you might wonder, if black holes bend space-time so profoundly, could there be passages hidden within them? Could the abyss lead not only inward, but also outward, connecting distant places or even distant times? The thought carries you softly toward the next mystery. Beyond black holes lies another idea, fragile and speculative, but rich with imagination. Wormholes, the bridges that might link far corners of space-time, shortcuts across forever. Close your eyes and return to the fabric of space-time. Imagine it stretching endlessly in all directions, vast and smooth. You have seen how heavy objects bend it, curving the weave like stones pressing into cloth. You have felt how gravity slows time, how black holes fold the fabric into steep, unyielding wells. But now, imagine something stranger. Imagine the fabric not only bending but folding so tightly that two distant points touch. At that meeting place, a tunnel forms, a wormhole. The idea of wormholes comes not from fantasy, but from the same equations that revealed black holes. When Einstein's mathematics was stretched and twisted, strange solutions appeared and shortcuts through space-time, like bridges between far-apart shores. Physicists call them Einstein-Rosen bridges, but the world calls them wormholes, tiny passages that could connect one region of space to another instantly. Picture yourself standing on one side of a river. To reach the opposite bank, you must walk downstream to a bridge, then back up. The journey takes time, but what if the river bent upon itself, folding so that the banks touched? Suddenly, you could step across in an instant. This is the promise of a wormhole, not a faster speed, but a shorter path. Pause and let this image settle. Imagine the universe itself folding, like paper bent until two dots touch. The fold becomes a tunnel, a passage hidden in the crease. Step through, and you might emerge light years away, as if space itself had given you a secret door. And yet wormholes are not steady bridges of stone. They are delicate, fragile, almost impossible to hold open. Left to themselves, they collapse in an instant, pinching shut before anything can pass through. To keep them open, some theories suggest, would require exotic matter, a strange form of energy that resists collapse, unknown and unseen. Without it, wormholes remain only possibilities, written in equations and dreams, but there is beauty in possibilities. Even if wormholes cannot exist, they invite you to see the universe differently. They remind you that space-time is not rigid. It is supple, foldable, alive with potential shapes. To imagine wormholes is to glimpse the playfulness of reality, the creativity hidden within its laws. Let yourself wander further into this thought. What if a wormhole could connect not only distant places, but different times? Could you step through and emerge not in another galaxy, but in another moment, yesterday, or tomorrow, or centuries yet to come? The mathematics leaves room for such speculation, though the challenges are vast. Still, the idea invites you to dream. That time, too, might hold secret doors. Picture walking through such a passage. One step and the sky above you changes. Stars shift, constellations rearrange. Perhaps the Earth itself has aged or transformed. You are the same, but the world around you has moved on. The wormhole becomes not just a bridge in space, but a thread through time. And yet, even as you drift in this vision, notice the calm truth beneath it. Wormholes may never be built, never be walked through. They may remain forever in the realm of theory, but they serve a deeper purpose. They expand the boundaries of your imagination. They show you that the universe is richer than the maps you first believed. Consider how often human understanding has been reshaped by what once seemed impossible. Once, it was unthinkable that the Earth could move around the sun. Once, it was unimaginable that invisible waves could carry voices across oceans. Now, the idea of space-time folds reminds you that mystery still remains. There are still horizons untravelled, questions unanswered, doors unopened. This is the gift of wormholes, not certainty, but wonder. They let you rest in the knowledge that the universe is not fully known, and perhaps never will be. There will always be corners of the fabric where imagination can wander, always passages of thought that lead into the unknown. Pause and breathe with this realization. You do not need wormholes to exist in order for them to matter. Their beauty lies in their possibility, in the way they open your heart to the strangeness of reality. Even if the doors remain closed, the thought that they could open makes the universe feel larger, more mysterious, more alive. Imagine now standing at the edge of one. The tunnel glows faintly, curving into darkness, its other side hidden. You do not know if it is safe, if it will hold, if you will ever return. But still, the presence of the door fills you with awe. You are reminded that existence itself is full of thresholds, moments of stepping into the unknown, trusting the path even when it is unseen. Perhaps this is why wormholes capture human imagination so deeply. They are metaphors for all journeys into mystery. Every choice you make, every leap of faith, is a kind of wormhole, a passage into a new reality, unknown until you arrive. The equations may speak of space-time, but your heart hears something more. The quiet truth that life itself is full of hidden doors. Let yourself rest in that thought. Wormholes may never carry your body, but they carry your spirit, your sense of wonder. They remind you that the fabric of the universe is not flat and simple, but folded, rich, full of depth. Even the laws of physics, so precise, contain space for imagination. And as you drift in this chapter's closing, feel how naturally the thought flows into the next. If wormholes are imagined bridges, then what are the boundaries that keep them from becoming real? What laws protect the order of the universe, ensuring that time does not unravel, that paradoxes do not bloom unchecked? The answer lies in the cosmic speed limit, the boundary set not by humans but by light itself. It is light that preserves cause and effect, that keeps the fabric whole. Wormholes tempt you with shortcuts, but light reminds you of the rhythm that all must follow. Rest now in the quiet of thought, and imagine yourself standing at the edge of a long road. Ahead, the path stretches endlessly, vanishing into the horizon. You imagine running along it, fall faster and faster until your legs blur with motion. In your mind, you keep increasing speed, determined to reach the horizon itself. Yet no matter how hard you push, there is a limit, a boundary built into the universe, the speed of light. This is the cosmic speed limit. Nothing with mass, no ship, no signal, no thought, can move faster. At nearly 300,000 kilometers each second, light sets the upper bound. It does not rush recklessly, nor does it pause. It holds steady, a constant against which all else must measure. Pause here and let this truth sink in. At first, it may sound like a restriction, a barrier blocking possibility, but it is not a wall to confine you. It is a guardian of order. Without this limit, the universe would unravel. Cause and effect would blur. Paradoxes would spill across existence. The speed of light ensures that events remain in sequence, that time flows with coherence, that reality does not dissolve into contradiction. Imagine if you could move faster than light. You might arrive at a destination before you had even left. Messages could be sent into the past, futures could interfere with presents, and the fabric of causality would tear. By holding firm, light prevents this chaos. It ensures that beginnings remain beginnings, and endings remain endings. Think of light, then, not as a gatekeeper, but as a conductor. It sets the tempo of the cosmic symphony, keeping each instrument in harmony. The planets orbit, the stars burn, the galaxies spin, all in rhythms coordinated by light's steady pace. Without this constancy, the song of the universe would lose its coherence. You can feel this limit even in daily life, though faintly. When you turn on a lamp, the light appears instantly, but in truth it has crossed the room at that steady finite speed. When you look at the stars, you see their light after years, centuries, or millennia of travel. The speed limit does not diminish your view, it shapes it, turning the night sky into a tapestry of ancient messages, still arriving at their destined pace. Consider too the paradox of slowness. If nothing can move faster than light, then nothing can even quite equal it unless it has no mass at all. Light itself, made of photons, is weightless. It exists purely as motion, never at rest. To carry mass is to carry inertia, and inertia resists infinite speed. The faster you move, the heavier your energy becomes, until reaching the speed of light would require infinite energy. That infinity is the universe's way of saying, this boundary must hold, and so every ship, every traveller, every dream of motion bows to light, not in defeat but in recognition. To live in a universe with a limit is to live in a universe that makes sense. You know that events will not undo themselves, that the arrow of time will not snap. The limit protects not only physics, but also the intimacy of your experience, your ability to trust memory, to count on tomorrow, to live without paradox. Pause, and let that comfort settle over you. Boundaries are not always prisons. Sometimes they are guardians, holding chaos at bay, allowing beauty to bloom within safe edges. The cosmic speed limit is one such boundary, invisible, unbreakable, but quietly protective. Now, imagine again racing along that endless road. As you near the speed of light, you feel time itself begin to stretch. Your seconds lengthen, your minutes expand. From the perspective of someone watching, you're slowing, caught in relativity's embrace. The limit does not merely halt you, it transforms you. It ensures that as you approach the boundary, time reshapes itself, preserving the constancy of light. This truth reveals something profound. The speed of light is not just a number, it is a thread woven into the structure of spacetime itself. Space and time adjust themselves to preserve it. Distances shrink, durations lengthen, reality bends to honor the constancy of light. And so you can think of the cosmic speed limit as the gentle hand that keeps the fabric from tearing. Without it, wormholes might collapse into paradox. Black holes might unravel causality. Time itself might lose direction. The speed of light is not simply fast. It is foundational, the guardian of coherence. Rest in this thought. The universe could have been chaotic, but instead it has order. And this order flows from light, steady and calm, guiding existence. To know this is to feel less alone. You are not drifting in a meaningless void. You are living within a structure that holds itself together, one that keeps paradox from spilling into your life. Still, curiosity stirs. If the speed of light is the boundary, what lies at its edges? What happens when thought experiments press against it, imagining loops of time, journeys into the past, messages arriving before they are sent. These gentle puzzles, time loops and paradoxes call you forward. They remind you that even with limits, the imagination continues to stretch, searching for what lies beyond. Imagine a circle. Trace it slowly with your finger, around and around, never beginning, never ending. Now imagine time itself drawn in the same way, not a straight line from past to future, but a loop, returning always to its starting point. This is the vision of a time loop, a gentle circle in which yesterday and tomorrow fold into one another. At first, it seems like a playful thought, something from dreams or myths, but when you press against the boundaries of physics, when you let your imagination wander along Einstein's equations, such loops appear as possibilities. Spacetime, bent and curved by gravity, sometimes admits the idea of closed time-like curves, paths that might carry you back to your own beginning. Pause here and breathe. What would it mean if you could step backward into yesterday? If you could meet yourself again, living moments already lived? The thought is both wondrous and unsettling. For if you returned, what would happen to the today you left behind? Could the river of time divide? Or would its waters fold back upon themselves, carrying you in circles forever? These questions awaken the idea of paradox. A paradox is not simply confusion, but a puzzle where cause and effect tangle. Imagine, for instance, that you step into a time loop and hand your younger self a book of knowledge. Your younger self grows up reading it, and years later gives it back to you in the loop. Where did the book come from? Who wrote it? Its existence seems suspended, without origin. This is called a causal loop, and though it is a puzzle, it is not easily dismissed. The laws of relativity do not forbid such loops in certain conditions. The equations leave room for strange curves where cause and effect circle endlessly. Think also of the grandfather paradox, a more somber thought. Suppose you journeyed into the past and prevented your own ancestor from living the life that led to you. If you were never born, who then travelled back? The circle collapses in contradiction, leaving only questions. At first, these paradoxes feel sharp, even jarring. But here, in the quiet of bedtime thought, you can hold them gently as one holds a seashell at the shore. You do not need to solve them, you only need to listen to their echo. For what they reveal is that time is more mysterious than a simple arrow pointing forward. It is a fabric, pliable and strange, sometimes offering the possibility of folds we cannot yet understand. Rest with this. Let the paradox soften into metaphor. Life itself sometimes feels like a loop, repeating patterns, familiar cycles. Days blur into one another, seasons return, memories circle back when least expected. Perhaps time loops in physics are mirrors of the loops we feel in our own experience. Gentle reminders that life is not always linear, that what we have lived remains with us, folded into who we are. Now imagine standing in such a loop. You walk forward, but soon find yourself returning to where you began. At first you are disoriented, but then you notice the comfort in it. There is no rushing toward an unknown future, no fleeing from the past. There is only the circle, repeating, steady, familiar. Could there be peace in such a rhythm? Could a time loop, for all its paradox, offer rest? Einstein's equations suggest that in certain universes, with the right rotational curvature, time loops could exist. The universe itself could be shaped like a circle, carrying events back to their beginnings. Whether such conditions truly exist in our cosmos remains unknown, but even the possibility invites wonder. Consider also how paradoxes guard the universe. The grandfather paradox, for instance, may be nature's way of reminding us that some paths are closed. If travelling to the past would undo your own existence, then perhaps the universe quietly prevents it, ensuring consistency. Some scientists speak of the chronology protection conjecture, the idea that the laws of physics protect time from paradox, keeping the river unbroken. Pause and notice how comforting this is. Even in the presence of paradox, there is safety. The universe holds itself together. You need not fear unravelling. Instead, you can let paradoxes be what they are. Invitations to reflect, to wonder, to rest in the mystery of time. Think now of storytelling. Many tales explore loops where heroes relive days again and again. Each cycle brings growth, each return of a chance to change. These stories reflect a deep human truth. Repetition teaches. Life's loops, the returning sunrise, the familiar heartbeat, the recurring memory, give shape to our growth. Perhaps paradox is not only in equations but in the way we live, circling back in order to move forward. Let yourself imagine this gently. You wake to a day, live it fully, and when it ends, it begins again. At first, frustration stirs, but then slowly you see the gift. Each loop allows deeper understanding, each return another chance to breathe, to see, to rest. In this way, the paradox transforms from puzzle to comfort. And so, time loops remind you that not all questions need answers. Some are meant to remain open, like doorways left ajar. They keep curiosity alive, letting the mind wander softly through possibilities. Now, as this chapter draws toward its close, notice how naturally it leans into the next. If time can loop, if paradoxes can appear, then what holds the larger flow of time steady? Why does it so often move in one direction, forward, from past to future? What gives time its arrow, its seeming certainty, its unbroken flow? Picture yourself floating in the quiet dark of the night sky. Around you, stars glitter like tiny flames, scattered across an endless canvas. For a moment, they seem still, fixed in their places, as if the heavens were painted and unmoving. But the truth is softer, spingier, more dynamic. The stars are not frozen, the galaxies are not standing still. The universe itself is stretching, expanding outward like a great invisible breath. This expansion is one of the most astonishing discoveries of modern science. For centuries, humans imagined the cosmos as eternal and unchanging, a vast stage upon which events unfolded, but that itself remained still. Then, in the early 20th century, astronomers peered deeper into the sky and found a different story. The galaxies were drifting apart, not because they moved through space, but because space itself was expanding, carrying them away from one another. Pause and let that thought sink in. Space is not a static container. It is an active fabric stretching with time. The light from distant galaxies arrives red-shifted, stretched into longer wavelengths, whispering the evidence of this expansion. The universe is not still, it is alive, in motion, unfolding. Now, imagine the galaxies as lanterns floating on a dark pond. The water beneath them swells and ripples, carrying each lantern farther from the others. None of them needs to row or drift on its own. The movement is in the water itself. So it is with the cosmos. Galaxies ride the expanding fabric of space, carried gently apart by the motion of the universe itself. And here is where time enters the story. If space is expanding, then time, inseparably bound to space, is also part of this unfolding. Time does not exist apart from the cosmos. It stretches as the universe stretches. It flows as the universe breathes. The expansion of space is also the expansion of time. Think of the Big Bang, that first moment when the universe bloomed from a state of unimaginable density and heat. Time itself began there, not before. There was no before, only the sudden blossoming of space and time together. Every second that has passed since has been part of the universe's ongoing expansion, like ripples widening in a pond. To exist is to float within this expansion, to be carried forward by the flow of cosmic time. Pause here and notice what this means for you. Your life, your heartbeat, your breath are all part of a rhythm that began nearly 14 billion years ago. The seconds you feel are not isolated, but born of the same unfolding that carries galaxies apart. Time is not something added onto the universe. Time is the universe, written into its fabric as deeply as space itself. Now imagine standing at different points within this expansion. In the early universe, when galaxies were closer, stars brighter, matter denser, time itself flowed through a different landscape. The ticking of cosmic clocks was woven into the heat and density of that youthful cosmos. As the universe stretched and cooled, time's rhythm unfolded differently. Even now, in the present age, expansion continues to shape the way time flows across the vastness. There is a gentle poetry here. Time is not a rigid line, but a breath, inhaling, exhaling, moving outward with the universe's growth. Each galaxy, each star, each person lives within this breath, carried effortlessly by its flow. You are not standing outside the universe watching it expand, you are inside it, woven into the very stretching of its fabric. Consider too the horizon of what you can see. The light from the most distant galaxies has travelled for billions of years, but beyond that there are places you will never glimpse. The expansion of space carries them more faster than their light can reach you. In this way, the universe sets a boundary to your vision. There are regions forever beyond your reach, not because of distance alone, but because time and space themselves are expanding between you. This brings a humbling truth. Time's flow is not uniform across the cosmos. In regions farther away, where expansion stretches space more quickly, the rhythm of time unfolds differently. Even within our universe, there is no single, absolute tempo. Instead, there is a grand symphony of rhythms, each shaped by expansion, each woven into the fabric of space-time. Pause and feel the softness of this realization. You are part of something vast, beyond measurement. Your minutes and hours may feel small, but they are bound to the same expansion that carries galaxies across billions of light years. Your life unfolds within the same cosmic breath that began at the dawn of time. The discovery of expansion also changes the way you see the future. If the universe continues to stretch, then galaxies will drift farther apart, stars will grow dimmer, the night sky will slowly empty. Far in the future, the expansion may carry everything so far apart that even light cannot bridge the gaps. Time will continue, but the universe's story will grow colder, quieter, more diffuse. And yet there is comfort in this too. For now you live in an age where galaxies still shine, where stars still burn, where the sky is alive with light. You are here for this chapter, this moment in cosmic history, and your time is bound to it. Imagine lying back and looking at the stars tonight. The light you see is stretched by expansion, carrying whispers from billions of years ago. Every glimmer is both a place and a time, delivered to your eyes at this precise moment. You are reading the history of the universe written in light, each photon a messenger from the past. This is the flow of cosmic time, not a single arrow, but a vast unfolding stretching outward with the fabric of space. It carries galaxies apart, it shapes horizons, it defines the rhythm of your own life. To sense this is to feel less separate, more connected. You are part of the same breath that carries the cosmos onward. And so, as you rest at the close of this chapter, let the thought linger. The expansion of space is also the expansion of time. The universe is not only where you live, but when you live. And this leads softly to another mystery. If time flows with the cosmos, what of the particles that whisper across space connected even when apart? Could entanglement reveal hidden threads that bind not only across space, but perhaps across time itself? Close your eyes and imagine the smallest things you can, particles too tiny to see, smaller than dust, smaller than atoms, smaller even than the nucleus at the heart of each atom. These particles live in the quantum realm, a place so delicate and strange that the rules of ordinary life seem to bend and dissolve. In this quiet world, particles can be in two places at once. They can spin in opposite directions at the same time. They do not wait for you to measure them before deciding what they are. They exist in possibilities, like notes of music waiting to be played. Among the strangest of these quantum wonders is entanglement. Imagine two particles born together, like twins sharing the same first breath. They may drift apart, one across a room, one across a galaxy, yet they remain connected. Change one, and the other responds instantly, as though distance does not matter. Their states are linked, inseparable, part of the same hidden thread. Einstein himself struggled with this. He called it spooky action at a distance, uneasy with the idea that something so mysterious could be real. But over time, experiments proved it again and again. Entanglement is not illusion. It is a quiet truth of the universe, whispering that separation is not as simple as it seems. Pause here and let the thought settle. Two particles, light years apart, connected as though they are one. What does this say about space, about time? If distance cannot break the connection, perhaps time cannot either. Perhaps entanglement reaches not only across the fabric of space, but also through the folds of time. Some scientists have begun to wonder if this is so. Could entangled particles remain linked even if one is measured now and the other much later? Could information echo backward or forward, binding moments as well as places? These are not questions with clear answers. They are still open, still fragile, still waiting. But they invite you to dream. Imagine holding two entangled particles in your hands. You place one in a box to be opened far in the future, and you measure the other today. The moment you look, you know something about the one you left behind, even across years. The connection weaves through time like a thread tying now to then. This idea stretches the imagination, but it also softens the way you see yourself. For if particles remain linked across time, perhaps so do you. Perhaps every moment of your life is entangled with the others, your past with your present with your future. You are not a sequence of disconnected points, but a single whole folded across time. Think of memory. A scent, a sound, a place can call back feelings long forgotten, as though the past still lives within you. Think of anticipation. A future event can shape your choices now, guiding your steps before it arrives. In your own way, you already live entangled across time, moments whispering to one another, connected invisibly. Quantum entanglement is not memory or anticipation, but it offers a mirror. It shows you that connection is deeper than distance, deeper than separation, deeper than time itself. It tells you that the universe is more intimate than you imagined, that even its smallest parts are never fully alone. Pause and breathe with this. You are part of a reality where everything is woven together. The connections may be faint, hidden, or mysterious, but they are there. The universe is not made of isolated fragments, but of threads, entangling particles, entangling lives, entangling times. Even your own existence is born of entanglement. The atoms in your body are carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, were forged in stars. Long ago, in the hearts of suns that lived and died, particles fused, linked, scattered, and found their way into you. You carry those connections now, the memory of stars written into your cells. You are, in a sense, entangled with the cosmos. Consider also what this means for time travel. If particles can whisper across space instantly, perhaps they also hint at ways time might bend. Some physicists explore these questions, wondering if entanglement could one day help us step beyond the usual flow of seconds. We do not yet know, and perhaps we never will, but the possibility itself is enough to soften your heart with wonder. You do not need to solve these mysteries tonight. You need only rest in them, as one rests in the sound of rain or the rhythm of waves. Let the thought of entanglement soothe you, that even when far apart things remain connected, that even when moments pass they still touch one another. Life too is filled with such threads. A kind word spoken years ago still echoes today. A choice made now may ripple forward into futures you cannot yet see. Entanglement is a scientific truth, but it is also a gentle metaphor, reminding you that nothing is ever entirely separate, not even across time. As this chapter drifts toward its close, hold the thought of particles whispering to one another, unbroken by distance, unbroken by years. Let it remind you that time is not only forward, but woven, braided, alive with hidden connections, and softly, let this idea lead you to the next. If particles can be linked, why does time for us seem to move only in one direction? Why do we remember the past but not the future, feel yesterday but not tomorrow? What gives time its arrow, always pointing forward? Sit quietly for a moment, and picture yourself holding a warm cup of tea. You stir it gently with a spoon and watch the leaves spiral, the sugar dissolve, the warmth rise into the air. The motion is soothing, simple, ordinary, but notice something hidden in this picture. The tea never unstirs itself. The sugar does not leap back into crystals. The steam does not gather back into the liquid. Time flows in one direction, and the cup reveals it. This is the arrow of time, the reason you feel past, present, and future as distinct. It is why you remember what came before but not what lies ahead. It is why broken glass does not leap back together, why you grow older but never younger. Time has a direction, a flow like a river, moving only downstream. Science traces this arrow to a concept called entropy. Entropy is a measure of disorder, of randomness, of how mixed and spread out things become. In every natural process, entropy tends to increase. The tea grows cooler as its heat disperses into the room. The sugar dissolves, spreading its molecules into the liquid. The order of the moment gives way to the looseness of many possibilities. Pause here, and let this image deepen. Life is full of such transformations. A neat room grows messy if left alone, not tidy again by itself. Food spoils, wood decays, mountains erode, entropy increases. This steady rise gives time its arrow, pointing always from order toward disorder, from past to future. But do not think of entropy only as loss. It is also creation. From the spreading of heat and matter came the birth of stars. From the collapse of order came galaxies, planets, life itself. Entropy is not destruction, but transformation, guiding the unfolding of the universe. Now consider yourself within this arrow. Your body too follows entropy's rhythm. Cells age, structures wear down, order dissolves into greater complexity. Yet even in this, beauty arises. The arrow of time allows growth, change, memory, story. Without it, life would be static, frozen in endless repetition. It is the very movement from order to disorder that makes experience possible. Imagine waking each morning without memory of yesterday. Imagine living without anticipation of tomorrow. Without time's arrow, there would be no narrative, no journey. Every moment would collapse into sameness. It is because time flows forward that you can carry your past within you and step into an unknown future. This arrow is not just human, but cosmic. At the birth of the universe, entropy was low, a state of remarkable order. Since then, it has been rising steadily, the cosmos spreading into greater complexity, greater variety, greater possibility. The arrow of time is, in a sense, the arrow of creation itself, pointing ever outward. Pause and imagine the universe as a great storybook. Each page is a moment, each line an event. You turn the pages in one direction only, never backward. The story unfolds not in circles, not in reversals, but in a single stream. You cannot return to earlier pages, but they remain written, preserved in memory, carried forward as part of who you are. Sometimes you may wish the arrow pointed differently. You may long to relive a moment, to step back into a cherished day, to undo a regret. But the arrow is firm. It moves you forward, not to punish, but to guide. It whispers, do not cling to what has passed. Carry it with you, and let it shape what comes. Entropy also shapes the way you feel time. A moment of joy seems fleeting because it disperses into memory, into the wider stream of your life. A moment of sadness feels heavy because it resists dispersal, clinging before it fades. Yet both are carried by the arrow, neither staying forever. Time's flow is both mercy and inevitability, allowing everything to change, nothing to remain fixed. Consider again your cup of tea. The warmth cools, the flavors mix, the leaves settle. You cannot reverse the process, but you can savor it. You can accept the direction and find beauty in its unfolding. In this way, the arrow of time teaches you to embrace impermanence, to see change not as loss but as life's essence. Now let your thoughts expand beyond the cup, beyond yourself to the cosmos. Stars too follow the arrow. They burn their fuel, shining brightly, then exhaust themselves, collapsing or dispersing into space. Yet from their ashes, new stars are born, new planets form, new life emerges. Entropy writes not only endings, but beginnings. The arrow of time is not cruel, it is generous, allowing the universe to evolve, to create, to tell its story. Every galaxy, every life, every heartbeat exists because time flows forward. Pause and rest in this comfort. You do not need to resist the arrow. You need only move with it gently like a leaf carried by the river. The direction is certain, but within it lies freedom. The freedom to live, to choose, to shape your journey as it unfolds. And yet, even as the arrow feels absolute, questions remain. Why did the universe begin in such a low entropy state? Why was there such extraordinary order at the dawn of time, allowing the arrow to exist at all? Scientists ponder this mystery, and perhaps the answer will never be fully known. But the mystery itself is enough to remind you of the depth of reality. Now imagine entropy not only as disorder, but as a spreading of possibility. Each moment opens into many paths, each path into many more. The arrow is not a narrow line, but a widening tree of outcomes, branching into infinity. You move forward not toward a single fate, but into a forest of possibilities, shaped by your choices, your actions, your presence. Let this thought soothe you. Time does not carry you helplessly. It offers you paths, It invites you to walk with awareness, to live within its flow, to shape meaning within its arrow. As you drift at the close of this chapter, picture again the swirling tea, the dissolving sugar, the cooling steam. See in them not only the inevitability of change, but the gift of it. The arrow of time makes life precious, memory meaningful, moments fleeting, and therefore treasured. And softly let this truth carry you forward. For if time always flows toward greater entropy, then what of human dreams to escape it? What of the long desire to build machines that step outside the arrow, travelling backward or forward at will? The arrow holds firm, yet the imagination still reaches for what lies beyond. Close your eyes and picture the flow of time as a river once more. You drift upon its surface, carried forward by its current, never able to turn back upstream. Yet for as long as humans have known this truth, they have dreamed of defying it. Across myths, stories, and scientific visions, the idea of the time machine has always stirred hearts and minds. The dream begins in the oldest tales. Ancient myths tell of gods who step outside the mortal flow of time, lingering in timeless realms before returning to a world changed. Legends speak of enchanted sleep, where years vanish in the blink of an eye. These stories reveal something tender, a longing not only to travel through space but through time itself. As centuries passed, the dream deepened. In the late 19th century, writers gave it a new form. The phrase time machine first appeared in a story by H.G. Wells, where a traveller builds a chair-like device to journey into the far future. Since then, countless books and films have imagined machines that spin, whir, and glow, carrying their passengers to other eras. Pause here and reflect. Why does this dream persist? Perhaps it is because time carries both joy and sorrow. We long to revisit moments of happiness, to hold on to them a little longer. We wonder about futures yet to come, curious about what lies ahead, and sometimes we ache for the chance to undo mistakes, to step back into a moment and choose differently. A time machine promises all of this, the power to bend the arrow of time. Science too has entertained the thought. Einstein's theories allow time to stretch, bend, and fold. Wormholes hint at shortcuts that could, at least in the imagination, connect different moments. Equations sometimes suggest loops or curves in spacetime where travel backward might be possible. Yet with every possibility comes a paradox, puzzles that reveal how fragile the fabric of reality is when time is pushed too far. Consider the grandfather paradox, which asks what happens if a traveller changes the past in ways that erase their own existence. Such contradictions make scientists cautious, wondering if nature itself protects against them. The dream of the time machine, while mathematically intriguing, always seems to slip back into impossibility. But perhaps impossibility is not failure. Perhaps the beauty lies in the dreaming itself. Time machines capture our desire to connect with who we were, with who we might become, with those we have lost, and those we will never meet. They are symbols of yearning, of love stretched across the arrow of time. Imagine yourself stepping into such a machine. You sit quietly, surrounded not by whirring gears, but by soft silence. With a gentle hum, the world outside dissolves. When the door opens, you step into a familiar room from your childhood. The air smells the same, the light falls as it once did. You see yourself younger, unaware of the years to come. The machine has not only transported you, it has given you back a piece of yourself. Now imagine travelling forward. You open the door to a city yet to be built, streets unfamiliar, voices speaking of things you cannot yet know. The future stands before you, vast and untested, a reminder that time carries not only loss, but also promise. Even without machines, you already travel in these ways. Memory is a time machine of the mind carrying you backward into days long past. Imagination is another, carrying you forward into futures that may or may not arrive. In dreams, you slip between times effortlessly, reliving and reshaping, weaving stories that defy the arrow. Pause and breathe with this realization. You're already a traveller in time, not with metal devices or glowing portals, but with the mind's quiet gift. The ability to remember, to imagine, to dream, these are your natural time machines. They allow you to step out of the present, if only for a moment, and wander gently through the fabric of your own life. Scientists may say that physical time machines remain impossible, that paradoxes and boundaries guard against them, but in another sense you already hold the key. Each memory you revisit, each story you imagine, is a small journey across the river of time. You need no machine to feel the presence of the past or the pull of the future. Think also of stories shared between generations. A grandparent tells of childhood, and suddenly the listener travels decades back, seeing the world as it once was. A child dreams aloud of the future, and suddenly the parent imagines decades ahead, stepping into what may come. Stories themselves are time machines, carrying us across eras with nothing but words. And so the dream of time machines endures, not because we expect to build them, but because they reflect something deep in us. The wish to hold time more gently, to touch what slips away, to peek into what lies ahead. They are metaphors for the heart's longing, for the human desire to stretch the moments of our lives. As you rest now, picture yourself not in a machine of gears and levers, but in the simple machine of your mind. Close your eyes, and you are back in a childhood memory. Open them, and you are already imagining tomorrow. The present is your doorway, and you step through it with every thought. The dream continues, and it always will. Time machines will remain part of our stories, our science, or our quiet yearning. They remind us that though time flows in one direction, the imagination flows in all. And softly, let this chapter carry you toward the next. For if time machines remain only dreams, what then continues to shape your experience of time in the here and now? What invisible hand touches every heartbeat, every moment, slowing or quickening the rhythm? The answer lies in gravity, the great shaper of time itself. Close your eyes and imagine standing in a meadow on Earth. The air is calm, the sky wide, and beneath your feet lies the quiet weight of a planet. You cannot see it, but Earth's gravity is holding you, pressing gently, guiding your every step. Gravity has always felt like a pull downward, but Einstein showed you something more profound. Gravity is the curve of space-time itself. Now let yourself notice what this means for time. Gravity does not only hold your body, it holds your seconds. The stronger the gravity, the more space-time bends and the slower time flows. Clocks run differently depending on how deep they are in gravity's embrace. Imagine two clocks, perfectly synchronized. One remains here on the ground. The other is lifted high, perhaps carried by a balloon into the upper atmosphere. Hours pass. When the clocks are compared, the one closer to Earth's mass has ticked more slowly than the one above. The difference is so small you cannot feel it, yet it is there. A whisper of relativity written into every tick. Pause here and let this truth rest in your thoughts. Your time is tied to your place. Stand at sea level and your moments stretch slightly compared to someone high on a mountain. Travel into orbit and your seconds unfold a little faster. Gravity sculpts time gently, invisibly, but unmistakably. Consider now a massive star. Its gravity bends space-time far more deeply than Earth's. Near its surface, clocks would crawl compared to those farther away. For a black hole, the effect becomes extreme. At its horizon, time itself slows almost to stillness. Gravity is not just a sculptor of space. It is the hand that reshapes the flow of time, and yet in daily life you live far from such extremes. On Earth, the slowing of time in gravity's arms is tiny, measured only with precise instruments. Still it matters. The satellites circling above you must account for both their speed and their altitude. Without correcting for gravity's effect on their clocks, the signals guiding your maps would drift. Even your daily journey relies on Einstein's truth that gravity bends not just space but time. Pause and breathe. Feel your heartbeat, steady and calm. Even now that rhythm is being shaped by Earth's mass. You may not sense it, but your body's clock is tuned to the depth of gravity in which you stand. You are part of the fabric, woven into its curve. Think also of the cosmos at large. Galaxies, with their vast collections of stars, bend space-time so deeply that they act as lenses, curving the path of light. In those curved valleys, time too is reshaped. Each cluster, each mass, each hidden cloud of dark matter presses its fingerprint into the flow of moments. There is something humbling in this. You are not separate from the universe's structure. Your time, your very sense of aging and living, is influenced by the same forces that move stars and galaxies. Every second you experience is a quiet dialogue between your body and the gravity that holds you. Now, imagine falling slowly into a deep valley carved by gravity. As you descend, you do not notice your time stretching. Your breath feels the same, your thoughts flow as always. But to someone watching from above, your seconds slow, Your movements appear unhurried, as though time itself had softened around you. You live normally, yet compared to the wider world, you are lingering. This image shows you the intimacy of gravity's hand. It does not only hold planets in orbit or shape the paths of stars, it holds your moments, too, pressing gently on the clock inside your body. It whispers into every heartbeat, every breath, that time is not absolute. Perhaps this is why gravity feels so mysterious. It is invisible, yet it sculpts everything. It is constant, yet it bends the rhythm of existence itself. To live under gravity is to live under time's shaping hand. Pause again and consider what this means for the dream of time travel. If time bends under gravity, then perhaps standing near a massive object could move you differently through the river of time. Near a black hole, moments pass more slowly compared to the rest of the universe. In a way, this is a kind of journey, not backward, not forward at will, but a difference in the rhythm of existence. You may never stand near such extremes, but the principle surrounds you here on Earth. Gravity touches every moment you live. It is not only the reason you stand firmly on the ground, it is the reason your seconds unfold exactly as they do. And so, gravity is both anchor and sculptor. It ties you to the Earth, and it shapes the time you inhabit. It binds you gently to the cosmos, ensuring that your journey is part of the greater weaving. As this chapter closes, let yourself feel that connection. You're not merely pulled by gravity, you are shaped by it. Your time is written by the Earth, by the stars, by the galaxies. The universe holds your seconds as surely as it holds your body. And softly, let this thought carry you forward. For if gravity's hand can bend time, what happens when you approach light speed, racing so swiftly that the very flow of seconds nearly halts? That is where your journey drifts next, into the strange beauty of living near the speed of light. Close your eyes and imagine yourself stepping onto a vessel unlike any you have known. It is sleek and silent, floating in the darkness of space. You sit within, feeling the hum of power beneath your feet. And you know that soon it will accelerate faster and faster, until it presses against the very limits of nature. You're not just travelling through space, you're moving into the edge of time itself. At first, the ship glides gently, and the stars outside look familiar, scattered and still. Seconds feel ordinary, your heartbeat steady, your breath unchanged. But as the vessel picks up speed, something subtle begins to happen. The stars no longer twinkle in place. They stretch, blur, cluster forward into a cone of light. The darkness behind grows deeper, while ahead, the universe seems to press together, as though space itself were folding to make room for your passage. This is what Einstein revealed. As you approach the speed of light, the universe rearranges itself. Space contracts in the direction of travel, distances shrink, and time dilates. Your seconds stretch longer compared to those who remain behind. To you, life inside the ship feels unchanged. You still sip water, still close your eyes, still dream. But when compared to the clocks left on Earth, your rhythm has slowed. Pause here and let this image rest in you. The faster you go, the slower your time flows. At everyday speeds, the effect is invisible. At the speed of a car or even a plane, your seconds differ only by the tiniest fraction. But as your vessel nears the speed of light, the difference grows vast. You may live a year on board while decades, centuries, or millennia pass outside. This is time dilation at its most profound. It is not an illusion. It is reality bending to preserve light's constancy. The speed of light remains steady, unbroken, unchanging, and so time itself must adjust. Your seconds lengthen, your minutes unfold slowly to ensure the universe's rhythm remains whole. Now imagine your journey continues. The vessel draws ever closer to the luminous boundary, 99%, 99.9, 99.99% the speed of light. Outside, galaxies rush past in brilliant streaks. Cosmic background radiation, once invisible, shifts into glowing blue, pressing against your windows like a river of light. Space is no longer a vast expanse. It is compressed, foreshortened, a corridor rushing forward. And your time from the outside has slowed nearly to a stop. For you, the voyage may take years. For those left behind, eons may pass. Civilizations may rise and fall, stars may live and die. You return perhaps unchanged, while the universe beyond is unrecognizable. Pause again and feel the strangeness of this. Speed becomes not only a journey through space, but a journey through time. The faster you go, the farther into the future you step. In this way, near-light travel is a form of time travel, not backward, not freely chosen, but forward, carried by relativity's law. And yet, for all its wonder, the speed of light remains unbroken. No matter how much energy you pour into your vessel, you can never reach it. To move at light speed would require infinite energy, infinite mass, and impossibility. You may approach but never arrive. Light alone holds that privilege, weightless and eternal, slipping across the cosmos at the ultimate pace. This boundary, though firm, is not cruel. It ensures the order of reality. If you could surpass light, causality would shatter. Events might happen before their causes, and paradox would reign. The unyielding constancy of light protects time itself, even as it teases you with what lies near its edge. Now imagine yourself pausing at that edge, drifting just shy of light's pace. You look out the window, and the universe is transformed. Behind you stretches deep darkness, as though the stars had been left behind. Ahead, all light crowds together, bent and compressed by your motion. Space seems to collapse into a tunnel, a single bright path stretching forward. You are still yourself, still breathing, still alive, but the world you knew has receded into another era, unreachable. There is awe in this vision, but also solitude. To travel near light is to step outside the rhythm of those you love, those you left behind. For you, the journey is short. For them, it is long. You return to find them gone, their moments carried far downstream while you floated slowly in your stretched seconds. And yet there is beauty here too. Such travel reveals that time is not universal, not absolute. It is personal, bound to your journey. Your seconds belong to you, your path, your speed. Each traveller lives within their own rhythm, and yet together, all rhythms remain part of the same fabric. Think of this as a gentle metaphor for life itself. Each person walks at their own pace, lives at their own tempo. You may feel slow while others rush ahead, or swift while others linger. But each path is valid, each rhythm true. Time is not the same for all, but it is shared, interconnected, whole. Pause once more and let the calm of this thought surround you. To near the speed of light is to glimpse the pliability of reality. It is to see that seconds and distances, once thought rigid, are alive, responsive, sensitive to motion. You are not trapped in an unyielding universe. You are part of one that bends gracefully, allowing you to move not only through space, but through time itself. Now, imagine the ship slowing, drifting back from the boundary. The stars spread out again, returning to their familiar places. Distances lengthen, colours soften, the tunnel dissolves into the open sky. Your time resumes its familiar flow, aligned once more with those around you. The extraordinary fades into the ordinary, but the memory remains. And with it comes a question. If speed can carry you forward in time, and gravity can bend your seconds, what happens when these effects converge in the vast scale of the cosmos? How does the universe itself, expanding, stretching, evolving, shape the rhythm of time for all within it? That question carries you softly into the next chapter, where the grandest stage of all reveals its influence, the expansion of the universe and the deep mysteries of cosmic time. Imagine a clock so large it cannot be seen, a clock whose hands are galaxies, whose ticking is the rhythm of the cosmos itself. This is the universe's expanding clock. It began nearly 14 billion years ago with the Big Bang, and it has been ticking ever since, not with gears or pendulums, but with the stretching of space itself. At first, the universe was small, dense, and unimaginably hot. Matter, energy, space, and time were all compressed into a single fiery beginning. Then, with a sudden unfolding, it began to expand. Galaxies formed and drifted apart, carried on the stretching fabric of space-time. And with every measure of that expansion, time itself moved forward. Pause and let this image settle. You're used to thinking of time as something measured by watches or calendars. But in truth, the ultimate clock is cosmic. The age of the universe is written in its expansion. The farther galaxies are from us, the faster they move away. This steady widening is not just space growing, this time itself breathing outward. Think of it like a balloon. On its surface, small dots are drawn. As the balloon inflates, the dots move farther apart, not because they travel across the surface, but because the surface itself expands. So it is with galaxies. They are not sailing through empty space. Space itself is stretching between them, and every stretch is a tick of the universe's clock. Now imagine standing within this balloon, unable to see its outside, only the dots drifting away. To you, the expansion is subtle, invisible in daily life. Yet when you look far enough with telescopes that gather faint light from ancient stars, you see the truth. The galaxies are retreating, each a messenger telling you that time has passed, that the universe has grown older. This expansion defines the flow of cosmic time. In the early universe, when everything was closer, time unfolded differently, faster, denser, filled with energy. As the cosmos has grown, its rhythm has slowed, cooled, spread out. Today you live in an era of vastness, where galaxies are far apart and stars burn more gently. Tomorrow, in cosmic terms, billions of years, the distances will be even greater. Pause here and consider what this means for you. Your seconds, your breaths, your moments are part of this grand expansion. You live within a universe that is not static but alive, carrying you forward as it stretches. The ticking of your heart, the turning of Earth, the flow of your life all unfold within the rhythm of this cosmic clock. And yet there is something humbling in the limits of what you can see. Beyond a certain horizon, galaxies are moving away faster than light, carried by expansion itself. Their light will never reach you. They are beyond your vision, beyond your knowing. The universe's clock ticks for them too, but their time is forever hidden from yours. This horizon is called the cosmic event horizon, and it is a reminder of time's boundaries. Just as you cannot return to the past, you cannot glimpse the farthest reaches of the present. Time and space weave a horizon around you, shaping what you can know. Beyond it, the universe continues, but its story remains out of reach. Pause again and feel the softness of this truth. You do not need to see everything to belong to it. Even the unseen galaxies are part of your universe, part of the same expanding clock. You are connected, even across horizons you will never cross. Now consider how this expansion shapes the future. Scientists speak of dark energy, a mysterious force pushing the universe outward faster and faster. If this continues, galaxies will drift so far apart that the night sky will grow empty. Future observers, living in distant ages, may see only their own galaxy, unaware of the wider cosmos that once filled the sky. This thought is both melancholy and beautiful. Melancholy because it means that much of what you see tonight will one day vanish from view. Beautiful because it reminds you of the preciousness of the present. You live in a cosmic moment when the universe is still visible, still full of stars, still open to your gaze. Pause and let that comfort you. Your life is brief compared to cosmic time, but it is perfectly placed. You are here while the galaxies still shine, while the universe's expansion can still be seen. You are alive in a chapter where the story is visible, where the great clock's hands can still be read. And this too brings you back to yourself. The universe's expanding clock is not separate from your own. Your body, your life, your memories unfold in rhythm with it. You are part of the same fabric, carried along by the same expansion. Every second you live is also a second of the cosmos, a tick of the universal clock. Imagine for a moment that you could see this clock. Galaxies drifting apart like hands moving slowly, silently. The ticking is not heard but felt, in the red-shifted light, in the faint whisper of cosmic background radiation, in the endless widening of the sky. You live within this ticking, even as you do not notice it in daily life. Pause and let gratitude rise. To exist is to share in the story of expansion, to belong to the unfolding of cosmic time. You are a brief note in a vast symphony, yet without your note, the song would not be complete. As this chapter draws gently to its close, consider the question that lingers. If the universe itself is a clock, what role do we play in reading it? What instruments, what discoveries, allow us to understand the fabric of time? This leads softly to the next mystery, the atomic clocks we build, so precise they can feel gravity, speed, and even the expansion of the universe itself. Imagine holding a watch in your hand. Its ticking feels steady, reliable, a rhythm you can trust. Yet even the best watch drifts. losing or gaining seconds with time. For centuries, humans measured time by the turning of the earth, the swing of pendulums, the flow of sand. But as our curiosity grew, so did our need for greater precision. And so we turned to the atoms themselves. An atomic clock does not tick with gears or springs. It keeps time with the vibrations of atoms, the smallest building blocks of matter. Each atom, like cesium or rubidium, vibrates at a frequency so stable, so regular, that it becomes a perfect metronome. 1 second is defined as exactly 9,192,631,770 vibrations of a cesium atom. This rhythm does not falter. It is as close to timeless as science has ever come. Pause here and let that number rest in your mind. Nearly 10 billion vibrations to mark a single second. Within that vast count lies the quiet stability of time itself. While your heart may change pace, while pendulums may drift, the atom's vibration endures, steady and unwavering. Now imagine two such clocks, synchronized perfectly, placed in different places. One remains on Earth's surface, the other lifted into orbit aboard a satellite. At first, they seem to tick in harmony, but over time a difference appears. The clock in orbit, farther from Earth's gravity, runs slightly faster than the one on the ground. Relativity reveals itself in the smallest detail, captured by the most precise of instruments. This is the wonder of atomic clocks. They not only measure time, they measure the bending of time. They are sensitive enough to feel gravity's pull, to sense the stretching of seconds with motion. With them we can confirm what Einstein whispered, that time is not absolute but pliable, shaped by speed and mass. Pause and reflect on how extraordinary this is. A human-made device resting quietly on a table or circling high above the Earth becomes a window into the fabric of space-time. Its ticking is not merely mechanical but cosmic. Each vibration carries within it the story of the universe's laws. Consider also how these clocks shape your daily life. The satellites that guide your journeys, showing your location on a map, rely on atomic clocks. Without their precision, corrected for relativity's effects, your position would wander, miles from the truth. Each time you check your phone for directions, you are leaning on Einstein's theory, confirmed by atoms vibrating billions of times each second. Pause again and let that realization soften you. Even in ordinary moments, you are connected to the deepest truths of physics. Your steps on a city street are guided by clocks that measure time with unimaginable precision, clocks that feel the tug of gravity and the stretch of speed. Now imagine carrying two clocks into different lives. One stays in a quiet valley, the other atop a high mountain. Over time, their ticks drift apart, each living according to the rhythm of its place. The difference is small, nanoseconds, tiny fragments of time, but it is real. With atomic clocks, we can see what once was only theory, gravity's hand upon time. These instruments also allow us to look farther, to peer into the history of the cosmos. By comparing their precision with the rhythm of light from distant galaxies, we can test whether the laws of physics have remained unchanged since the dawn of time. In this way, atomic clocks do more than measure the present. They connect past, present, and future, binding human experience to cosmic unfolding. Think of them as mirrors of the universe. Each vibration of an atom is not random. It is written by the same laws that govern stars and galaxies. When an atomic clock ticks, it is echoing the same order that keeps planets in orbit and photons in flight. You hold in your hand not just a measure of time, but a reflection of the cosmos itself. Pause once more and consider what this means for your own sense of time. Your seconds feel personal, shaped by your heartbeat, your breath, your days, but they are also tied to atoms, to vibrations that are universal, stable across space and time. In this way, you are both small and vast, both individual and cosmic. And so atomic clocks remind you that time is layered. There is the intimate clock of your body, the shared clock of the Earth's rotation, and the cosmic clock of expansion. Each layer flows into the others, harmonizing into a greater whole. As this chapter draws to a close, picture again that cesium atom, vibrating with perfect steadiness. Its rhythm is not yours alone, but the universe's. Every second you count is anchored to this vibration, to this cosmic steadiness. And softly, let this realization guide you into the next thought. If we can measure time with such precision, then we can begin to wonder whether time itself is fundamental or if it is woven from something even deeper. Quantum threads hidden beneath the flow of seconds. Imagine a smooth river flowing endlessly past you. This is how you usually think of time, a steady stream, unbroken and continuous. Each second flows into the next. Each moment blends softly into tomorrow. But beneath the surface, science whispers another possibility. What if time is not smooth but granular? What if at its deepest level, time ticks like a hidden clock made of indivisible pieces too small to see? This is the question of quantum time. In the quantum world, the rules of the ordinary dissolve. Particles do not sit still in fixed places. They exist in clouds of probability, only becoming definite when observed. Light itself is both wave and particle, rippling and discrete at once. And so scientists ask, could time also behave this way? Could it come in quanta, the smallest possible units, indivisible and fundamental? Pause and let that image form. Instead of a smooth flow, picture time as a string of pearls, each bead a tiny quantum of duration. They are so small you cannot perceive them, yet together they make the necklace you call a second, a minute, a lifetime. Some theories suggest that at the smallest scale, the Planck time, about 10 to the minus 43 seconds, time may not divide further. Below this, the idea of before and after loses meaning. The flow breaks into grainy intervals as though reality itself is stitched from quantum moments. Consider how strange this is. To you, time feels continuous. A breath rises and falls without pause. A heartbeat flows into the next. Yet beneath that smoothness may lie the smallest ticks of the cosmic clock, too fine to notice but always present. Now, imagine listening closely, as if pressing your ear against reality itself. You do not hear a steady hum, but countless soft clicks, each marking a quantum of time. Together they blend into continuity, but individually they are distinct. Time in this vision is both music and beats, wave and particle, smooth and grainy. Pause here and think of sand. From far away, a beach looks like a continuous stretch of softness, but up close you see countless grains, each one separate, together forming the illusion of smoothness. Could time be like this, an ocean of moments built from indivisible grains too small to touch? Quantum physics often reveals such dualities. Energy, once thought continuous, is quantized into packets called quanta. Light, once thought a wave, is also particles called photons. If everything else in the universe has quantum structure, perhaps time does as well, and yet the mystery deepens. In quantum theory, time is not always treated as fundamental. Sometimes it appears only as a backdrop, a parameter used to describe how particles evolve. Some physicists wonder, is time itself real, or is it an illusion born from change? Could it be that time emerges, like temperature, as a collective property of deeper processes? Pause again and let that thought drift through you. Perhaps time is not the foundation but the shadow of something deeper, unseen. You feel it, you live by it, but it may not be the ultimate truth. It may be a reflection of the quantum world's hidden dance. Consider how this changes your perspective. You think of time as absolute, inevitable, binding, but if it is quantum or emergent, then time is fragile, flexible, contingent. It could behave differently in other universes, under other conditions. The arrow you know may not be the only way. Now imagine yourself holding a single quantum of time in your hand. It is not visible, not tangible, but it carries weight. It is the smallest possible moment, indivisible, eternal in its brevity. Place another beside it and another, and soon you have built a second. Build more, and you weave minutes, hours, lifetimes. Each quantum is nothing on its own, yet together they create everything you know. This vision is humbling. It reminds you that even your longest days are made of countless tiny instants, each fleeting, each irreplaceable. Life itself is stitched from these grains, fragile and precious. Quantum time also invites new metaphors. Think of memory. Your past feels continuous, but it is composed of fragments, snapshots, sensations, glimpses. Together they form your story, though each is separate. Or think of music. A song feels like a flowing whole, but it is built from discrete notes, each one essential. Time, too, may be both continuous and discrete, both river and step. Pause and feel how this comforts you. If time is quantum, then every moment matters, each grain is unique, never to return. To live is to hold these quanta gently, to let them pass without clinging, knowing that together they form the necklace of your life. Science has not yet proven whether time is truly quantum. Experiments are delicate, theories uncertain. But even in this uncertainty there is beauty. It reminds you that the universe is not finished being known. There are mysteries still waiting, questions still open, doorways still ajar, and so, as you rest with this thought, let yourself drift into wonder. Time may be smooth, or it may be granular, it may be fundamental, or it may emerge from deeper laws. You do not need the answer tonight. You need only the awareness that time, like all the things, holds mystery within it. And softly, let this idea guide you forward. If time may be quantum, then perhaps it is not fixed but relational. Not something you pass through, but something that arises from interactions, from motion, from the web of the cosmos itself. Close your eyes and imagine an empty room. The walls are bare, the air still, the silence complete. If nothing moves, if nothing changes, can you say that time is passing? Without motion, without events, without relation, time becomes invisible, unmeasurable, perhaps even absent. This thought carries you to a profound idea. Time may not exist on its own. It may not be a thing flowing independently like water in a river. Instead, it may arise from relationship, between events, between particles, between you and the world around you. Pause here and let the idea soften you. Time as relation means that it is not absolute. It does not exist without context. It emerges when change occurs, when one thing moves in comparison to another, when memory places before beside after. Time, in this vision, is not a stage upon which life unfolds. It is the unfolding itself. Consider your heartbeat. If it beats in stillness alone, it feels steady. But when you compare it to a clock on the wall, you say it is faster or slower. Time is born in the comparison. Without the relation, the ticking heart is only rhythm, not measure. Think also of the earth. It spins on its axis, orbits the sun, tilts gently to create seasons. These motions give you day and night, months and years. Without the relation between earth and sun, there would be no calendar, no seasons, no familiar markers of time's flow. This is what physicists call relational time. The idea that time emerges not from an absolute background, but from the interplay of things. Carlo Rovelli, a modern thinker, describes time as an illusion born of interactions, a tapestry woven from countless threads of relation. Pause again and imagine the universe as a vast web. Each star, each particle, each person is a point in the web. Time is the vibration of the threads, the pattern created by their movement. It is not a separate entity, but the rhythm of the web itself. Now consider memory. Your sense of yesterday is not a place you can visit, but a relation between what happened and what you recall. Memory ties moments together, creating the flow you experience. Without memory, there would be no past, only an endless present. Similarly, anticipation ties you to the future, creating the sense of what has not yet come. Both are relations, threads linking your experience into a story. This view softens the rigidity of time. Instead of a fixed arrow, it becomes a conversation, a harmony between things. You feel time not as an absolute ticking, but as the relations between heartbeats, footsteps, breaths, and the turning of the earth. Pause and breathe with this awareness. Notice how your sense of time changes when you are with others. A conversation flows and hours pass unnoticed. Alone in silence, minutes may feel long. Time is not the same in both moments because it is relational. It arises from connection, from the web of experience. In physics too, this truth appears. A particle's behavior is not defined in isolation, but in its interaction with another. Measurements of time are always comparisons. This clock versus that one, this motion against another. There is no master clock outside the universe. The universe itself is the relation. Think also of music. A single note hangs in the air, timeless until it is joined by another. Only in relation does rhythm emerge. A melody is not one sound, but the sequence between them. Time, too, is like music. A structure born not from isolated moments, but from their relation. Pause and imagine yourself as part of this cosmic orchestra. Your heartbeat is one note, your breath another, your thoughts another still. The world around you adds its own rhythms, the rising sun, the turning moon, the drifting clouds. Together, these relations create your experience of time, a symphony of interconnected beats. This vision reshapes how you see your own life. You're not moving through an external time. You're creating time through your relations, with people, with places, with the universe itself. Every connection, every interaction adds to the weaving of your time. It also brings a kind of comfort. If time is relational, then it is not something you lose, but something you live. The past is not gone. It is carried in your memory, in your body, in your relationships. The future is not fixed. It arises in your choices, your connections, your unfolding path. Time, in this way, is alive. Now imagine for a moment that you are floating in deep space, far from stars or planets. Without reference, without motion, you cannot tell whether time is passing. Your heart still beats, your breath still flows, but without relation, those rhythms have no measure. Time emerges only when you notice change, when you compare, when you relate. This is the essence of relational time. It is not an absolute river, but the dance of differences. Science continues to explore this. Some theories suggest that at the quantum level, time disappears entirely, replaced by pure relations between states. Time in this view is an emergent property, something that appears only when the universe is observed at a large scale. Beneath it may lie a timeless world where reality is pure relation, pure possibility. Pause and let that thought drift through you. Beneath your seconds and hours may lie a stillness without time, a reality where relation is all. From that stillness, time emerges, like ripples on a pond when stones are dropped. You live in the ripples, but the pond itself may be timeless, and yet this does not diminish your experience. It enriches it. To know that time is relational is to see that you are part of the weaving. Your connections, your choices, your awareness shape the rhythm you live. Time is not something outside you, but something you create with every step. As this chapter closes, imagine the web of the universe once more. Each thread vibrates, each relation adds to the music. You're not separate from it. You're one of its notes, one of its rhythms. The time you feel is the harmony of your place in the web, and softly let this realization lead you forward. For if time is relation, then what becomes of it in the far future, when the web stretches thin, when the universe grows old? That is where your journey flows next, into the question of time's end, and whether the clock of the cosmos will ever fall silent. Imagine the night sky stretched across eternity. Tonight it is full of stars, a great sea of light spilling across darkness. But picture yourself drifting forward, far into the future, not decades, not centuries, but billions upon billions of years. The stars have grown fewer, dimmer. The sky no longer shines as you know it. Slowly, gently, the cosmos has entered its twilight. In this distant age, the brightest stars have burned their fuel. Galaxies have thinned as suns collapse into white dwarfs, neutron stars or black holes. The night sky that once glittered with abundance grows sparse, scattered with faint embers. The universe's clock keeps ticking, but each tick is slower, quieter, stretched across emptiness. Pause here and breathe. The arrow of time has always been tied to change, to entropy, to the unfolding of events. But what happens when the universe grows quiet? When energy spreads so thinly that almost nothing new can occur? This is one vision of the end of time, not a sudden stop, but a slow fading, like the last notes of a song dissolving into silence. Scientists call this the heat death of the universe. In this scenario, expansion carries galaxies farther apart, stars exhaust themselves, black holes evaporate into faint radiation. Eventually matter itself may decay, leaving only thin, cold energy. Without change, without events, without relation, time itself may lose meaning. If nothing happens, can time still be said to pass? Pause again and let this thought settle. You may imagine time as infinite, stretching endlessly forward. But if time is relational, born of change, then perhaps its end is not marked by a final second, but by the absence of moments altogether. Time may not end with a bang, but with a sigh, a long, eternal stillness. Other visions of the end exist. Some imagine the universe collapsing back on itself in a big crunch, reversing expansion until all matter reunites. In this scenario, time may loop, beginning again in a new cycle. Others speak of a big rip, where expansion grows so strong it tears galaxies, stars, and even atoms apart. Each vision carries a different fate, but all ask the same question: what becomes of time when the cosmos itself transforms? There is something humbling in these possibilities. You live in a universe rich with change, stars burning, planets orbiting, lives unfolding. Yet the great clock may not always tick. It may slow, or stretch, or dissolve into silence. Time is not eternal, it is a property of a living cosmos, and like all things, it may have its end. Pause, and notice how this realization makes your present feel more precious. Every second you live is a note in the song of the universe, a song that will not last forever. To exist now, while stars still shine and galaxies still bloom, is to exist in a rare, luminous chapter of cosmic history. Yet endings, too, have beauty. Imagine the universe at rest, spread evenly, still and silent. No suffering, no rush, no struggle. Only quiet balance, infinite and calm. Perhaps the end of time is not tragedy but peace, the stillness of a river that has completed its journey, merging into the ocean. And here, in this quiet thought, you may find a reflection of your own life. Just as the universe has a beginning and an end, so do you. Your moments are finite, your story bounded. But within those boundaries lies meaning. Without an end, there would be no urgency, no beauty in the fleeting. Time's finitude gives life its tenderness. Pause again and think of wombed memory. Even as moments pass, they are not lost. They remain within you, woven into who you are. Perhaps the universe too carries memory, in light travelling across space, in fossils of radiation, in the silent testimony of ancient stars. Even when time's arrow falls silent, its story may still be written across the cosmos. Consider also the possibility that endings are not absolute. Some theories suggest that from the ashes of one universe another may arise. If expansion leads to heat death, quantum fluctuations might seed a new beginning, a new Big Bang, a new arrow of time. In this vision, endings are doorways, not walls. You need not know which vision is true. The future lies far beyond human reach. What matters is the wonder they inspire, the way they invite you to see time as fragile, precious, alive. Whether it ends in silence or begins anew, the journey itself is enough. Pause and let that soften you. You're not meant to hold the universe forever. You're meant to live within its chapter, to breathe in its moments, to rest in its unfolding. The end of time, when it comes, will be no more frightening than the end of a song, simply the closing of a melody that has already been beautiful. And so, as this chapter draws to a close, imagine yourself standing at the edge of time, looking back on all that has been, galaxies born, stars shining, lives lived. Ahead lies silence, behind lies story. You rest in the in-between, grateful for the seconds you have. Softly, this thought leads to the final reflection. If time can end, then perhaps its meaning is not in eternity but in presence. And so you turn to the last chapter, where the mystery of time becomes not only a cosmic question, but a deeply human one, the meaning of living within time itself. Close your eyes and take a slow breath. You have travelled far, across galaxies, into black holes, near the speed of light, to the beginning of the universe and its possible end. You have wandered through theories and mysteries, through Einstein's visions and quantum whispers, and yet after all this journeying you return here, to yourself sitting quietly in the present. What does it mean to live within time? This question is softer than the ones before. It does not ask for equations or distant futures. It asks for presence, for awareness, for the gentle recognition that you are a being carried by time's current. You cannot step outside of it, but you can learn to drift peacefully within it. Pause and notice your breath. Each inhale rises, each exhale falls. You cannot hold one forever. It must pass so that another may come. Already in your breathing you feel the truth of time. Moments arrive, moments depart, and in the flow between them, life is born. Think of your heartbeat. It beats in rhythm, a quiet metronome inside you. Each beat is a moment you cannot reclaim, but also one that carries you forward. Without the passing of beats, there would be no living. Time is not your enemy. It is your companion, your pulse, and your measure. Pause again and imagine your life as a necklace of moments, each bead shining for an instant before being strung into memory. Some beads glow with joy, others with sorrow, others with quiet ordinariness. Together, they form the story of who you are. You may not control how many beads you're given, but you can notice each one, cherish it, polish it with awareness before it slides into the past. Living within time means accepting change. Seasons shift, bodies age, relationships grow and fade. To resist this is to suffer, but to accept it is to find peace. Time's arrow is not meant to wound you, but to guide you, to remind you that nothing is stagnant, that life is movement. Think of the people you love. Their presence is precious because it is fleeting. Conversations, laughter, embraces, none can be frozen, yet all can be remembered. Time teaches you to value what you have, here and now, because it will not remain forever. This is not cruelty, it is tenderness, urging you to see beauty in the fleeting. Pause, and let a memory come to you. Perhaps a moment from childhood, a place, a face, a sound. It arrives unbidden, shimmering like light on water. You cannot return to it, yet it lives within you, woven into your present self. Living within time means carrying your past not as a burden, but as a companion. Now turn your gaze forward. The future is uncertain, unwritten, a space of possibilities. You may feel fear of what it holds, or hope, or longing. But remember, the future is not yet real. It arises only when the present arrives there. Living within time means releasing the need to know the future fully, and instead walking step by step, allowing it to unfold. Consider also the ordinary. Much of life is not dramatic or cosmic, but simple. Eating, walking, speaking, resting. These moments, too, are time. They are not wasted, not lesser, but essential. To live within time is to see the sacred in the ordinary, to realize that eternity is contained in a cup of tea, in the sound of rain, in the quiet rhythm of your breath. Pause again and notice how your sense of time shifts depending on how you live. In joy, hours pass quickly. In sorrow, minutes feel endless. In mindfulness, even a second can feel full. Time is not only measured by clocks, but by attention. The more present you are, the more time expands within you. This is why living within time means living fully awake. It is not about having more time, but about seeing the time you already have. Each second is alive with possibility, waiting to be noticed, to be lived, to be loved. Now imagine your life as part of the greater cosmic clock. Your seconds unfold within Earth's rotation, Earth's orbit, the galaxy's spiral, the universe's expansion. Your time is small compared to these, yet it is also inseparable. You are not apart from the cosmos. You are its expression, living one chapter of its vast story. And this realization brings peace. You do not need to control time. You do not need to outrun it or escape it. You are part of it, always. To live within time is to trust the river, to float, to know that your story is woven into the larger fabric. Pause once more and let gratitude rise. You have been given seconds, minutes, hours. You have been given the chance to live, to feel, to wonder. These are not infinite, but they are enough. They are gifts, and each one carries its own meaning. Living within time also means letting go. You cannot hold on to the past, nor can you clutch the future. You can only meet the present with openness. Each moment is a doorway. Walk through gently, then release it as it closes. This is the art of living. To hold lightly, to let flow, to be present in the ever-moving stream. Think of time not as a chain that binds you, but as a garden that nourishes you. Each season brings new growth, then decline, then renewal. You are part of that cycle, and your life blooms and fades within it. To live within time is to embrace this cycle, to find beauty not only in the blossom but in the falling of leaves. And so, after all the mysteries of relativity, of quantum whispers, of cosmic expansion and endings, you return to the simplest truth. Time is here, now, carrying you gently. The universe may end, clocks may falter, theories may change, but this moment, this breath, this heartbeat is real. 'tis yours. As you rest at the close of this long journey, let the thought settle deep. Time is not to be conquered, but to be lived. You are not outside it, nor trapped by it. You are part of it, a note in its symphony, a moment in its unfolding. Softly you surrender to the river, to the heartbeat of the cosmos, to the flow of life itself. For living within time is not about endlessness. It is about presence, here, now, enough.